everybody, and welcome inside Beaver Stadium here in Happy Valley for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Tonight's matchup, the 19th ranked Michigan Wolverines against the number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. I'm Austin Falco. Alongside me for the first half is Daniel Thompson. Second half you will hear Jeremy Parks and Will Yang to finish it off. But first of all, Daniel, coming into the game, it's Penn State's whiteout. This crowd is amped up. The Wolverines, though, probably their toughest test of the season. I think it's fair to say, but perhaps Penn State's
true road test. They did have, of course, the season opener against Florida, a tough neutral site location. But this is the first time, really, they're going to be not be the favorites in the game and have the opposing crowd against them. And it's really one of the only places in America as tough to play in as the Big House. Of course, here in Beaver Stadium, the second largest stadium in America behind the Big House back in Ann Arbor. We'll have to see how the Wolverines hold up to this test. But on the other end of the coin, I think this is also Penn State's most challenging matchup all season long.
So we mentioned the matchup specifically as teams as a whole, but you and I talked a little bit beforehand, Daniel, and the X factor of the game is really to come at the line of scrimmage, you were saying.
Absolutely. I think both teams would identify their offensive lines as the weakest unit on the whole team. I don't have to tell you how fantastic that Michigan defensive line is. They're going up against a Penn State offensive line that is ranked below 100 in many offensive line categories, such as power blocking, where they finished 120. They're so far 127th halfway through the season. So it will be incredibly the offensive line play to see which offensive lines will step up and give the protection their offenses need to make plays will be huge. I think first to 20 can probably win this game.
So when we talk about line play, a lot of times it comes into question. We talk about run blocking lines, talk about pass blocking lines, and I think it's fair to say tonight's going to come down to the run game. You have, of course, the best player in the country, perhaps, on Penn State's roster in Saquon Barkley. Meanwhile, on the other side, Michigan's run game seemed to get it going last week against Indiana. Do you share that sentiment, Daniel? The fact that the run game is really going to be the thing that determines this game when it comes to the line play.
Absolutely. We saw last week at Indiana, Michigan's offensive passing game. It could deliver a spark at times. Nonetheless, the running game really is what got them through that game. Karan Higdon's fantastic 200-yard performance really led the Wolverines to victory last week. And it goes without saying, the man who many believe is the best player in the country, Saquon Barkley of the Penn State Nittany Lions, a Heisman frontrunner. His performance tonight will likely dictate the outcome. He's had 2 disappointing performances, held under 100 yards in his past 2 games. Nonetheless, he's the man that everyone will be watching tonight.
So those last couple of games, we saw Saquon Barkley perhaps mortal here, and we mentioned a little bit, Michigan's defensive line gonna put up a tough challenge for Saquon Barkley. Fair to say his toughest of the year until maybe they get to Ohio State down the road. But those are really 2 premier defensive lines that Penn State's gonna face this year. How do you expect him to fare in this ballgame?
I think this will be a difficult one. I think it'll take some time to feel it out. We saw against Northwestern a few weeks ago, Saquon Barkley had a poor first half, took some time to feel them out, and then really exploded in the second half. I expect to see more of the same. He is going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage many times tonight. We'll see how he responds to that. We know he can cut on a dime and get around defenders. As he gets acclimated to this amazing Michigan D-line, I think he'll get better throughout the game.
Yeah, we saw Saquon Barkley a few weeks ago against Iowa. Really just a magical performance. I know I was watching that one personally, and it seemed like on the regular, Saquon Barkley's turning 2-yard losses into 7-yard gains. It's really something to behold. It's something Michigan's going to have to really look out for in this ball game. Another X factor, we've seen Michigan struggle a little bit this year with quarterbacks that are able to run the ball a little bit, really move around with Trace McSorley. How do you expect McSorley to perhaps impact this game, not just with his arm, but with his legs as well?
I think McSorley, he's done a fantastic job so far complimenting Saquon Barkley. Of course, I did say that Penn State, this will be their toughest challenge, but it's not as if they have not been challenged. On the last play of that Iowa game, he was able to throw the game-winning touchdown pass, and he led the team down the field. Very little help from Saquon Barkley on that game-winning drive against Iowa. I think when the job is on his shoulders, Trace McSorley can definitely perform, and I anticipate him to make the plays he needs to tonight.
So we are just about ready to get underway here at Beaver Stadium. The coin toss has occurred. Penn State won the toss, and they elected to receive. James Franklin, head coach for the Nittany Lions, obviously wanting to get his premier players on the field, and Barkley and McSorley to start this one off and try to set the tone early on here in this ball game.
This is a Michigan team whose offense really doesn't allow them to be comfortable playing from behind. So I think James Franklin is looking to get up early here and really control the pace of the game throughout with an early score on this possession.
So it will be Saquon Barkley back to receive. He's standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. Michigan kicking left to right here from our vantage point. It'll be James Foe, the normal kickoff man for Michigan, who's been excellent so far this season. We'll see what he can do to try to contain Saquon Barkley. The kick is away, and it is a boot. Saquon Barkley has run all the way across the end zone. He's going to feel it about 6 yards deep and take a knee. So early on, Michigan able to mitigate what could have been a potential impact play to start the game.
Fantastic job by Fogue. Already during Big Ten play, Barkley already ran a touchdown back against Indiana. That was a fantastic run back. Really, the blocking was not exquisite for that run. He just got by every single defender. Michigan does a good job neutralizing Barkley so far. Now let's see how they do on the first play from scrimmage.
So ready to come out for the first play from scrimmage. The Penn State Nittany Lions, they run exclusively out of the shotgun, and they'll start out with Trace McSorley in the backfield all alone. Two wide receivers split to the right along with Mike Gesicki, the tight end. Split to the left is one wide receiver and Saquon Barkley. McSorley checks the defense, now gets his signs from the sideline. Penn State adjusting on the fly here. McSorley now motions Saquon Barkley back into the backfield off to his left. Devin Bush shows pressure. McSorley's dropping back to pass. He's looking right. He gets hit as he throws it, but completes the pass to Jawan Johnson over the middle. David Long on the coverage to stop him for about 6 yards out to the Penn State 31-yard line.
And while Penn State likes to run a no-huddle offense, they take a lot of time doing pre-snap adjustments. It looks like McSorley's adjustments paid off as he found the open man for a reasonable gain.
Penn State running a little hurry up here. In the backfield is McSorley, this time with Barkley to his right. One wide receiver split to the right. It's Johnson over to the left. He has three wide receivers split out, including the tight end, Gesicki. Now Saquon Barkley taking the direct snap. He runs an option play now. Starts right, cuts left, and he's got a wide open field. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going to go all the way for a Penn State touchdown on the second play from scrimmage. Saquon Barkley. It's 6-0 Nittany Lions.
And James Franklin really delivered. He did everything he needed to with that opening drive. Now he has the lead. Michigan's going to have to play from behind. That's not where they want to be. And Barkley really demonstrated his ability. Michigan's defenders will have to do a much better job on the contain. After about 5 steps, I think Barkley knew he was gone for the touchdown on that play.
Michigan perhaps over pursuing there with Barkley faking to the right there. Goes down as a 69-yard touchdown for Saquon Barkley on, like we said, just the second play from scrimmage. It'll be Tyler Davis now, the place kicker here, trying to tack on the extra point. The snap is good, the hold is good, and it is right down the middle. So the score 7-0 in favor of the Penn State Nittany Lions. Just 43 seconds into the ball game.
And you can hear the crowd is into it right now. It's going to be hard for Michigan to overturn this momentum. I think James Franklin did a fantastic job. It's unpopular to accept the opening kickoff when you win the coin toss. Franklin took the gamble, not having the ball in the second half to start off, and it worked perfectly for him so far. Michigan's going to feel very uncomfortable, and he sent a message to the Michigan defense. They cannot be as aggressive as they like to. They have to play contained against Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, we heard earlier on here in the week that Devin Bush was going to be the Saquon Barkley containing machine. And looking at that play, he did go too far to his left, over pursued a bit, and he was blown by once Barkley hit the hole. I will see what the Michigan offense can do to respond here.
I don't think Barkley was touched at all that entire play. Could have been two-hand touch, and he was fine. Every single player on the Michigan defense bit on that little cut forward by Barkley and then turned it around.
So it'll be Tyler Davis now kicking off for Penn State. Kicking right to left now. It's Ambry Thomas back. As the crowd gets on its feet here for the whiteout. The kick is up. A short kick here. It will not be fielded by Ambry Thomas. Instead, by Brad Hawkins over on the left side. He's going to get field it about the 12, get up to about the 23-yard line. They'll mark them down at the 24. So that is when Michigan will start their first drive of the ball game here at Beaver Stadium.
And I think another strategic call by James Franklin. All they want to do is limit any big special teams plays from the Michigan Wolverines. He wants to make their offense win this game for them, and he's okay sacrificing a few yards in field position so long as it guarantees no kickoff runbacks.
The crowd now on its feet. Michigan coming out in that heavy formation they started with last week. 2 tight ends and the fullback. It's Khalid Hill, and as we expected, Karan Higdon in the backfield to start things off. Nate Shanley moving tight to the formation from the right. Higdon gets the ball, runs off the middle, but he is stuffed for no gain on that one. Just barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like Ryan Buckholz on the tackle.
And we've now seen 3 plays from scrimmage, and Michigan already has to feel like their backs are against the wall.
Michigan now running a little bit of hurry up here. Exact same formation as last time with 2 tight ends, 1 to each side. Hill in the backfield, the I formation with Higdon right behind him. Shanley split out wide to the right. O'Korn checks, now hands off to Higdon going out the middle. Higdon cuts a little bit. He's able to get about 3 yards, but that's going to be it as he is stopped there by the aggressive safety Marcus Allen coming out to make a play.
That sets up 3rd and long, and I think Penn State has sent their messages on offense and defense so far. 3 yards in a cloud of dust will not cut it for the Michigan offense.
So 3rd and 7 now. Michigan spreads it out. 3 wide receivers towards the left. A couple tight ends over there, really. 1 wide receiver over to the right. That's Shanley on the Higdon split out wide right. O'Korn alone in the backfield on the shotgun. He takes the snap, drops back, looks over the middle, but he is sacked. Is number 52, Curtis Cothran, able to get in the backfield. Looks like he beat the interior of the Michigan line. Ben Bredesen there, left guard, to sack John O'Korn for a loss of 5, and Michigan will be forced to punt here on 4th and 12.
And Bushel Beatty was beat as well. His man got right by him and forced O'Korn to step up in the pocket, right into Curtis Cothman. Not much you can do there as the Michigan offense besides pass protect better.
So it'll be Brad Robbins kicking away now. Back to field is DeAndre Tompkins. Robbins now gets the snap. He boots it. It's a high, long kick. Tompkins going to field. No, he's going to field it on a bounce now at his own 30. He is on the right, starts left, now goes back to the right. A flag is thrown as he's eventually brought down by Eddie McDoom at about the 33-yard line. We'll see with the flag. I anticipate probably a block in the back on that one.
I believe I saw one too right before the ball was picked up by the punt returner. We'll have to listen for the call. The ball is down at around the 32 was the ball carrier. We anticipate they'll be moving back.
So it was a block in the back there. It'll be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. We're going to walk it back from the 32 back to the 22-yard line. So slightly worse field position than Penn State started off with when they started on their own 25 to begin the ball game. And Michigan's defense obviously looking for better here after a 2-play 75-yard drive capped off by a 69-yard Saquon Barkley touchdown run to begin things.
Despite the penalty, I don't think James Franklin is bothered at all. There is 12:16 remaining in the first quarter, and Penn State is already starting their second offensive possession up 7-0. They've only ran 2 plays from scrimmage.
Pretty much the ideal start here for Penn State on whiteout night. They only do it once a year. They decided they should do it when Michigan came to town. Ironically, though, it's Michigan in the white jerseys, although not their normal white jerseys that we've seen over the last few years under Jim Harbaugh, reverting back to the maize pants along with the white jerseys, the maize and blue piping on the shoulder pads. Of course, the iconic maize and blue winged helmets for Michigan. Meanwhile, Penn State in their iconic uniforms, the white bottoms, blue tops with white numbers, and the white helmets for the Nittany Lions today. Really one of college football's premier venues to watch a game here, especially when you get to come for a night out. No, it's the game of the week. College game day here earlier on. I believe the Lee Corso pick was Penn State after a brief fake out.
Indeed, the classic Corso fake out. And really this game is absolutely deserving of game day and Penn State's annual whiteout. 19 versus 2, I believe the only ranked versus ranked matchup. And right now Penn State is looking to build on that lead. And really this is going to be their biggest home game all season. They travel to Columbus later on. Really their best chance to show this team that they've fantastically built. Came out of nowhere in the second half of last season, has been riding that momentum ever since. All the way up to number 2 in the polls currently. they'll stay there no matter what, as Alabama dominated Tennessee earlier today. But a fantastic chance for them to show off this fantastic team they built in front of the home crowd.
And I saw plenty of recruits here earlier on. We were walking through the stadium. Definitely a premier day for Penn State, both recruiting-wise and just in general, premier day here. Mentioned the whiteout. There are little small spatterings of maize and blue in the crowd, but not very many aside from the Michigan section that's up and over to our left. They stick them up over there. A pretty sizable Michigan contingent, almost stretches across one side of the end zone and fills up a couple sections. But again, there's some white mixed in those Michigan sections. The Penn State Nittany Lion fans come out on whiteout night. They do not disappoint. So now it looks like we're just about ready to begin Penn State's second drive here. It's at their own 22-yard line. Penn State comes out, 3 wide receivers off to the left side. Saquon Barkley in the backfield to McSorley's right. And it's Mike Gesicki tight to the formation on the left side. Worth noting there is no one on the line on that right side for Penn State, so that right tackle would be technically an eligible receiver if he had reported. I did not hear anything. This one's a run to Saquon Barkley regardless. He goes straight up the middle, and he's going to get about 6 yards before finally being brought down by David Long.
And Brian Monet has been on the field for, I believe, all 3 of them. Michigan snaps so far. Michigan is really bringing out the jumbo set to try to contain Barkley and penetrate the line early, not giving him room to move forward.
So now Penn State goes 5 wide, 3 to the left, 2 to the right, including Barkley off to that right side. McSorley alone in the backfield, but he checks to the sideline as Penn State is wont to do on just about every single play. This time he stays alone, does not call Barkley. Now he does off to his right. Barkley fakes the motion to the right, now goes left. He fakes the handoff. McSorley goes right up the middle, and he's got a lot of room to run now. Jukes, he's still going left. He eventually slides down across midfield to the Michigan 47. It'll be Khaleke Hudson getting credit for the tackle as he was the closest one there. And actually marking down at the 50 where he started his slide, but a first down Penn State.
Once again, a little bit of a misdirection play. Barkley started moving to the right, and the defense bit again. This Michigan defense obviously has to fear Barkley, but they can't give him all the attention in the world, otherwise these other weapons will abuse them.
Now Penn State 2 wide right, 2 wide left. McSorley in the shotgun, Saquon Barkley to his right. McSorley now takes the snap, drop back to pack. He's looking left. Pressure coming from his left. He's got to scramble, but now he goes deep to the left side. There's an open man, Gesicki, and he reaches and skies over Brendan Watson to the grab all the way down at the Michigan 15-yard line. A 35-yard gain has Penn State in the red zone here, 1st and 10.
And that was really a broken play, but just the taller Gesicki, he looked about a head taller than either defender on him, easily got up there and got the reception for a huge gain, and Penn State's first snap on the Michigan side of the field.
Penn State now starts again, 5 wide, 3 to the right, 2 to the left. It's Barkley off to the right, Gesicki off to the left, the 2 main weapons Penn State has on this offense. McSorley now checks to the sideline, and I imagine as we see on just about every play, he motions Saquon Barkley. There he is to his right now. McSorley now running a speed option to the right, pitches to Barkley. He's got space on the right side. He turns the corner. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown. Saquon Barkley, his second of the game, this time from 15 yards. And Penn State is now up by a score of 13-0 here. Less than 5 minutes into the game. There's still 10-11 to go here in the first quarter.
And Michigan has no answer at all for these misdirection plays. Really, we've seen so far, as long as there's any motion in the backfield, Penn State will find a way to get open and exploit the Michigan defense for a large gain.
Just about all of Penn State's big plays have been the option runs. You saw Saquon Barkley's first touchdown was an option. That was a speed option. McSorley's long run was a quarterback keeper on the option there. As Tyler Davis comes in to kick the extra point, snap, hold, kick is up and good. The score 14-0 now. Nittany Lions over the Michigan Wolverines. Once again, only 4:49 into the ball game.
And the
extremely quick strike offense.
Penn State's already up 14-0, but Michigan has been in this position before against a ranked opponent. Of course, that was against Florida, who is no longer ranked, and this is now on the road against number 2, Penn State. Nonetheless, Michigan did trail 17-3 at one point in their game against Florida. They've been in this position, and they have to recover from here on out.
And Michigan, they've run 3 offensive plays. They went 3 and out of their first drive. Penn State's only run 6 offensive plays, but they've got 14 points on the board to show for it. Just shows the talent level that they have in their skill players on that Penn State offense with McSorley, with Gesicki skying for that large gain there, with Saquon Barkley. He's already up to 89 yards on the day in just 3 touches so far. Has a couple touchdowns to go along with it, padding his Heisman stats. At this point, what can Michigan do to perhaps try to stop them, or is there really no answer for this Penn State attack?
Well, the pass rush has to get into the backfield quicker. They gave McSorley some time to allow receivers to get downfield. Rashawn Gary was close to being able to take down Trace McSorley. However, they have to completely eliminate the passing game, it appears, in order to slow down Saquon Barkley. It's a big hole for them. We've seen in the first half Penn State come out a little bit slow. They only scored 21 points in total, I believe, against Iowa. Did not put up a whole lot of points against Indiana or Northwestern. For the best defense they have faced all season, they've really come out and done everything they need to do to put this game away early.
And you have to wonder if James Franklin and the offensive coaching staff saw anything maybe on the Michigan film. Of course, Joe Moorhead, the excellent offensive coordinator here, known for that quick strike style, the big plays. He loves those. He's also the quarterback's coach, so he's really coached up Trace McSorley just about as well as you can find. You have to wonder if maybe they saw something on the Michigan game film, because it's been very option heavy here. And Penn State did have a bye week to prepare last week. You have to think there's something on film that they're exploiting in the Michigan defense. We'll see how quickly Michigan can adjust. But first of all, Michigan's got to figure out how to adjust on offense and try to fight their way back into this ballgame, maybe try to get something on special teams here on the big return.
And thinking back to that Purdue game for the Wolverines, they got tricked quite a few times on misdirection plays by Purdue's offense. Obviously a much more talented offense here for Penn State. Perhaps that game is what James Franklin looked back to, but whatever he was looking at, it's been incredibly effective in telling about this Michigan defense.
That'll be Tyler Davis again, kicking off for Penn State. Back to receive, it's Ambry Thomas about 3 yards deep in his own end zone. Brad Hawkins caught the last one. He's standing at about the 11 on the far side of the field, off to the left of Ambry Thomas. We'll see where Davis decides to kick it this time. He puts a big boot into it, sends it back towards Ambry Thomas. Thomas is going to field right at his goal line. He's going to take it out. He's going left, tries to cut the middle. Now he's going to cut left. He's got the edge. He's going. He's at the 20. He's at the 30. Tries to turn the corner. He eventually gets chased down. Looked like number 15 on the play. It's Grant Haley, the star cornerback, was able to finally chase him down, but he got all the way out to the Michigan 43-yard line is where they're going to mark him. Great return there for Ambry Thomas. Perhaps a little momentum here for Michigan if they can capitalize.
Thomas gave the Wolverines exactly what they were looking for. There's still 10:03 to play in this first quarter alone, and now maybe he can help the Wolverines put some points on the board before they give the ball back to the Penn State Nittany Lions.
A tough task, though, as the crowd once again rises to their feet, especially that student section waving the white palms that they handed out here. Michigan comes out, one tight end tight formation, Gentry. They have Donovan Peoples-Jones in motion, going right to left here. Higdon in the backfield, Poggi in front of him in the I formation. A draw play here to Higdon. He is stuffed at the line once again. The interior of that Penn State line doing great work. Looks like Ryan Buchholz once again in there on the tackle, along with Curtis Cawthron right in the middle of things. So no gain there. It's going to be 2nd and 10 for Michigan, still at their own 43.
In the pregame, we discussed that this game would come down to the performance of both offensive lines, and so far the Penn State offensive line has clearly outperformed the Michigan O-line.
Michigan now trying to mitigate that, perhaps bringing 2 tight ends back in the game. Nate Shanley is split out wide right as Poggi and Higdon in the backfield in the I formation again behind O'Korn under center. O'Korn now takes the snap, hands it once again to Karan Higdon up the middle. Able to fight for about 3 yards, and that's just about as he's brought down by Manny Bowen in the middle. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 7 here for Michigan, the exact same situation they had on their first drive, and which resulted in a sack of John O'Korn.
The crowd is getting loud here for 3rd down. Picking this up would be a huge momentum swing for the Wolverines, badly needing points.
Michigan now splits 2 wide receivers out wide. It's Crawford and Perry. Looks at Donovan Peoples-Jones out to the left. McEwen to the right of John O'Korn in the shotgun. Higdon to his left. O'Korn drops back to pass, fakes the screen to the right, now goes screen to the left, but that is eaten up. It was McEwen on the grab, but it was Troy Apke flying in there for a big loss of about 7 or 8 yards all the way back to Michigan's own 40. So another negative yardage gain on the drive for Michigan, and they're forced to punt after another 3 and out.
And that pass was completed about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Michigan has done nothing so far to spread out the Penn State defense and be able to move the ball vertically or down the field.
So the Brad Robbins back to punt. Once again, it's DeAndre Tompkins to receive once again for Penn State. Last time his return of about 3 yards was mitigated by a block in the back penalty after he fielded it on a hop. Robbins gets the snap. He boots it high into the air and off towards the sideline. Tompkins calls for a fair catch at his own 22. Goes down to a knee for a second to grab it, but does indeed secure the ball. They'll mark it at the 23-yard line of Penn State. So about the same starting field position. It didn't seem to matter how far away from the end zone Penn State was on their first 2 drives in this ballgame.
A waste of good field position for the Wolverines, and flipping the field really probably means nothing. This Penn State offense has shown that it doesn't matter where they start, they can rattle off 50-yard gains at a time, erasing wherever the field position may be. And it's important to keep in mind that Michigan State was able to defeat Michigan with 14 points alone 2 weeks ago. Yep. The Michigan defense has to be alarmed. If they give up any more points, they might be afraid that their offense won't surpass that total for the rest of the game.
Yep, Michigan offense, it's no secret. They're scuffling. Like you said, 14 points might be enough to win this ball game, but you got to imagine Penn State not ready to let their foot off the gas pedal. It looks like almost here in this first quarter, Michigan knows they're getting punched in the mouth, and on their first couple drives, just trying to run the ball, complete a short pass, maybe try to run that clock down. They've only run off about 7 minutes, though. There's still 7:54 left to go here in the first quarter. They find themselves in a huge hole. And now Penn State offense, like you said, coming back onto the field. Already 2 touchdowns for the Heisman candidate, Saquon Barkley, on 3 touches. He's already got 89 yards. Other chunk plays with a 23-yard run for Trace McSorley on the last drive, along with a 35-yard grab by Mike Gesicki, the star tight end. Really, not a whole lot has gone on in this game, but at the same time, a whole lot has gone on in this game. It's already 14-0.
Well said, and Penn State has not faced a single third down all game. I think maybe the goal for Michigan on this first series is just to limit them to a third down, put Penn State in a position where if they make a mistake, they'll have to give the ball back over.
Michigan, one of the best third down teams in the country at stopping opponents. They were last year as well. It's that Don Brown style of get opponents, try to stop them in first and down, put them into a third and long situation where you can dial up some creative blitzes from Dr. Blitz, Don Brown. Like you said, though, hasn't been able to do that so far today, and perhaps he wants to take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit on that aggressiveness, and so far it's cost him. It seems like he's sending Devin Bush on a couple plays on the blitz here, and they're either not getting home on passes or he's on the wrong side of the formation where Penn State ends up running, and perhaps a byproduct of that option offense. They can read exactly where the pressure is coming from the Michigan defense. You have to wonder maybe the pressure gets dialed back, and does that play into Penn State's hands at all? If they don't have to worry about the exotic blitzing and maybe make the reads a little more simple for Trace McSorley. Just a couple things to look at here as Penn State comes out for their third drive of the ball game. They all drop back onto the field, and as Penn State has started with a few times today, 2 wide receivers split out right, 2 to the left, including Saquon Barkley. Mike Gesicki, the tight end, tight to the formation to the right of McSorley, alone in the backfield at the moment. That has changed most of the time tonight, though, after he looks over the defense, now looks to the sideline for the call.
And already a change noticeable. No Brian Monet on the field now for the Michigan Wolverines.
It's Mo Hurst, the lone defensive tackle there. Lined up right over the center. Connor McGovern. Now McSorley dropped back to pass. Now he finds over the middle, but over the head of Saquon Barkley, and he would have had all day to run if that pass had been completed. It was a little mesh concept over the middle. Michigan has to be thankful that he missed that pass.
Nonetheless, it's easy to understand why McSorley missed that pass, as 4 Wolverines were closing in on him. He was going to take a hit no matter what, and that got to his head, forced him to miss the pass.
Now, interesting addition here is Michael Dwumfor has seen the field. Now they go back to 2 defensive tackles. Penn State, once again, 5 split out. 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Saquon Barkley's off to the right. He didn't come in formation, or didn't come in motion back to the backfield. Last play, he does this play to McSorley's left. On the left hash, McSorley takes the ball. Now looking back to throw, looks left, now goes to the right. He's got a man, but overthrows him towards the sideline. Now pass interference call is going to be called here on Tyree Cannell. He was in coverage there, and I got to be honest, I didn't really see what exactly he did to Deshaun Hamilton to draw the flag, but that is the opposite side of the field of what we see. We'll see if we can get a replay here to diagnose exactly what happened.
It appears that they're going to call him for holding right off the line of scrimmage at 5 yards off. You're allowed 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. After that, you can't hold the receiver back at all. It appears they're going to call him for that. The ball was uncatchable, so it would be hard to see a pass interference call.
It was indeed holding, so it's 10 yards and a Penn State first down. So there goes Michigan's chances of forcing a third down for the first time today.
Of course, it doesn't matter how good your third down defense is if you can't get your opponent to a third down. Once again, Penn State avoids a third down.
Penn State, 2 wide receivers to the right. Gesicki tight to the formation to the right. 2 split out to the left, including Saquon Barkley in the slot. Comes in the backfield now to McSorley's right. Furbush showing pressure from Michigan. It's an option play. They hand it to Barkley up the middle, and for the first time, Michigan able to contain him a little bit. He's only able to get 2 yards before he's swallowed up in the middle of the field. It looked like Khaleke Hudson and Rashawn Gary along with Noah Furbush all in on that tackle. It takes a mountain of players to take down a guy like Saquon Barkley. He's just so strong and so good. But a 2nd and 8 here for Penn State at their own 35. They go 4 split out, or rather 3 wide receivers split out to the right. Gesicki tight to the right. Saquon Barkley, the only wide receiver to the left, but he is not on the line. Once again, an exotic formation for Penn State. McSorley fakes the screen to him. Now looking downfield to his right. He goes backwards to Saquon Barkley. That's a fumble. That's behind the line, but we may have a roughing the passer here on Chase Winovich. It looks like that's what's going to happen. It was going to be a fumble for about a 12-yard loss after it went over Saquon Barkley's head and backwards.
Michigan cannot afford that. They were finally going to get Penn State into a terrible position. We still have not heard the call. We will await it right here. We're about to get an announcement.
It is a personal foul, roughing the passer there with Chase Winovich. That hit Trace McSorley. So for the 2nd straight time on this drive, Michigan appeared to force a third down, but still has yet to do so in the game after another penalty. That's a big one. That's 15 yards. Going to put the ball all the way up to about midfield. They put it right at the 50. So Penn State, another first down here. And just 50 yards till pay dirt. They come out 2 wide receivers split right, 2 to the left. Saquon Barkley in the backfield to the right of McSorley. As Penn State always does, McSorley looks over to the sideline for his call. Barkley now switches from the right side to the left side of his quarterback. Michigan now switching up their coverages, looks like as well. Looks to be a read pass option. He goes over the middle for Gesicki, but too high. It bounces off his hands and incomplete. It was Khaleke Hudson on the coverage, but not very tight coverage as Gesicki was all alone there on the green pasture that is Beaver Stadium's turf.
And so far in this drive, we've seen both teams beat themselves more than their opponent beat them, either through penalties or incomplete passes.
Penn State hurrying up here, 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left again. McSorley now looking to the sideline for his signal. Saquon Barkley to his right in the backfield. Now Barkley will take the direct snap. We saw this earlier. Little read option play. Barkley was up the middle. He bounced it to the right side. He's going to have the edge there. Devin Bush isn't able to get there. And it'll be finally chased out by Lavert Hill after a gain of about 6 yards. Looked like Saquon Barkley might be able to turn that corner and find pay dirt once again, but David Long able to shed his block and shove him out. It'll be 3rd and short, though, just a 3rd and 4 for Penn State.
Michigan finally executes a contained defense well enough to hold Barkley from a first down. They're going to need these kind of plays, but also they cannot afford personal fouls or anything to help the Penn State offense.
For the first time, Barkley comes off the field in favor of Andre Robinson. He lines up to McSorley's right. So a wide receiver split out to the right and 3 off to the left, including Gesicki in the slot. Robinson switched over to the left. Now they run a little out route to him. He's going to try to get the edge on the left side, and it looks like he does. Mike McCray chases him out of bounds, but not before he gets just enough for the first down. Looks like a 5-yard gain to the Michigan 39. Gets the first down by 1 yard. So Penn State 1 for 1 now, converting on 3rd downs in this ball game, and they are in business here. First down once again.
This drive may not be as easy as previous ones for the Penn State offense. Nonetheless, I'm sure they'll accept a drive like this. They're eating up clock now. There's still 5.5 to play in the first quarter, but they have the ball on the Michigan side of the field.
Miles Sanders, the running back now, next to McSorley to his right. 2 wide receivers split right, 2 to the left. McSorley gets the signal from the sideline. Sanders still off to his right here. McSorley now takes the snap and speed option to the right, pitches to Sanders. Sanders has the edge there, He's able to get about 10 yards off to that right side before being brought down by Tyree Cannell flashing across the field. And it looks like it's only going to be a gain of 9 as he's chased out right at the 30-yard line. 2nd and 1 now for Penn State as Saquon Barkley comes back onto the field.
And now the Michigan defense is tasked with the most difficult job in the country, holding Saquon Barkley to just 1 yard.
Right now, Barkley split out to the right in the slot, along with one other wide receiver out there, Jawan Johnson. Off to the left, it's Deshaun Hamilton. Mike Gesicki, the tight end in the slot, as Barkley now motions over to McSorley's left. You got to imagine it's got to be Saquon Barkley here with the ball. They do indeed give it to him up the middle, and he's able to rumble forward for about 6 yards, and a first down there for Penn State.
And you have to wonder how much of this Penn State offense is designed just trying to trick the defense before the play, and how much of it is reading and reacting to the Michigan defense. We've seen a couple times Devin Bush has come up to the line trying to blitz and trying to anticipate the snap count, then realize that Penn State is regrouping, recalling the play, and he has to retreat before blitzing again. Either way, it's done a fantastic job of tricking this Michigan defense and really forcing them to show their hand.
Seen some young Wolverines getting in the game. Quiddy Page and Marek Woods in there as McSorley takes a snap and rolls off to his left. He finds Saquon Barkley on an outright. Bartley catches, cuts back up towards the middle, and is tackled down for a gain of about 4. It was Noah Furbush on the tackle, along with it looked like Jamarek Woods, who we just mentioned, getting some playing time here. Gain of about 3 yards, where they end up marking him down at 2nd and 7 at the Michigan 22.
Khaleke Hudson could not quite bring down Barkley, however he could slow him down, allowing his teammates to get to them. But Penn State once again on the doorstep of the red zone, already up 2 scores.
Penn State now 2 wide receivers split right, 2 to the left, Barkley in the backfield to McSorley's right. We've already got the signals from the sideline on McSorley ready for the snap here. Michigan showing pressure out the middle. They're not going to matter as McSorley looks to the left. And it's picked off there. It's David Long. He's got a lot of room on the right sideline, but he's forced out by Trace McSorley. David Long taking advantage of some miscommunication between Trace McSorley and his tight end, Mike Gesicki, on a little out route to the left. He's able to grab the ball at about the 15 and trace it back down for 25 yards. Big turnover there for the Michigan defense.
No need to force that pass to Trace McSorley. Penn State had the ability to do whatever they wanted with the Michigan defense. They could get as creative as they wanted to. You're right there. You're about to go up by 3 scores. Penn State cannot afford that.
So David Long's first interception of the year has Michigan in business at their own 41-yard line. They come out 2 wide receivers split right, 1 tight end. The I formation, it's Higdon with Hill in front of him in the backfield. This time they fake the Higdon on first round. They go out route to Khalid Hill. He catches the ball. He rumbles forward. It's going to be a gain of about 8 yards. He was brought down there by Christian Campbell, the cornerback for Penn State.
And this stadium just got a lot more quiet. I'm sure if you ask Penn State fans and players, they still feel very confident about this game. Nonetheless, it looked like they were about to really put this game on ice in the first quarter alone. And now Michigan's in position to make this a 1-score game potentially with a good drive here.
Michigan comes out the same formation as last time. Perry and Peoples-Jones split out to the left. It's Gentry tight to the right. This time Higdon now is in the backfield. He goes out to the right wide receiver slot. As O'Korn drops back to pass, about a 7-step drop. He finds room up the middle. He's running. He gets a block from Khalid Hill. He's running right. He's got room. He slides down at about the Penn State 39-yard line, and Michigan has their first down of the game, and their first play now will be run in Penn State territory.
And it's worth noting, going into this drive, the Wolverines had -5 net yards of offense. They change up the play calling. Rather than a Karan Higdon run up the middle on the first down, instead they do a short pass out to Khalid Hill, and it spreads the field, allows John O'Korn to pick up a lot of yards by his feet.
And it looks like Michigan now changing the personnel a little bit. We have Chris Evans in the ball game. Also Eddie McDoon both in the backfield with John O'Korn in the shotgun. McDoon goes in motion to the left. He hands it off now to Evans running right. He finds the corner. He's got a little bit of room. He's able to rumble forward for about 9 yards. Might have gotten 10. It looks like they're going to mark him down for 9 yards for being chased out by Marcus Allen, the safety for Penn State. So a nice 8-yard gain or 9-yard gain, about 8.5 there for Chris Evans on his first touch of the ball game. Michigan now with another 2nd and short situation.
And it's going to be a little bit less than a full yard even. Michigan's really flipped the script on offense here. Rather than facing 3rd and long and 2nd and long every drive, they've had back-to-back 2nd and shorts.
So now Chris Evans in the backfield. 3 tight ends in the ball game, along with McEwen split out to the left. So really 4 tight ends in the ball game. O'Korn under center, gives it to Evans. He makes the cut up the middle, rumbles forward, spins out of a tackle and they're able to reach forward for a gain of about 4 and a Michigan first down to the Penn State 27-yard line.
Fantastic job by Evans. A Penn State defender had him, probably could have held him to prevent the first down. He keeps fighting, keeps his legs moving, spins, shakes out of the tackle, and falls forward for a handsome 4-yard gain.
So Michigan now moving the ball effectively here in Penn State territory at the 27-yard line. Higdon back in the ball game. It's Khalid Hill off to the right and the offset eye. A couple of tight ends off tight to the left of the formation line with Shanley split out wide to the right. O'Corn under center. O'Corn now fakes the handoff to Higdon. He's got pressure from his right side. He dumps off to Higdon though, but it's incomplete because it bounces before it can reach the running back for Michigan. It'll move to 2nd and 10.
And now we see Penn State moving out their players and trying to get different formations on the field. Michigan had to make the switches at first. Now Penn State is having to adjust. And because of those switches, Michigan trying to run hurry up here. Same personnel, almost same formation. This time Khalid Hill's off to the left. They hand to Higdon. He bounces left. Now Rumblesword breaks a tackle. And he's all the way down to the Penn State 17-yard line. Actually marked him down to the 11-yard run from Higdon. He broke about 3 tackles on that play. Great running there. And Michigan's got another first down in the red zone. Michigan's first, 2nd and long of the drive. They're able to pick it up. Fantastic play by Karan Higdon. That looked like it was going to be a negative play, setting up yet another 3rd and long. Now 1st and 10 at the 16, but this has been Michigan's offense's biggest struggle all year, red zone offense. Let's see what they do now that they've changed up play calling. This might be the last play of the quarter should the clock keep running. About 23 seconds left, only 13 on the play clock. Michigan comes out in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right is McDoom in motion. He's going right to left. Isaac in the backfield. It's a swing pass. McDoom going out left. It's blocked well. He's got space. He finds a hole. He rumbles all the way down to the Penn State 3-yard line before being forced out of bounds by Troy Apke. And you could tell McDoom was fighting to stay in bounds. He knows how important it would be to get into the end zone right now after how much his offense has struggled in the red zone. Nonetheless, does a fantastic job. Gets inside the 5-yard line. Sets up 1st and goal and 1st and short. And that will be the end of the first quarter. Michigan looking much better on this drive when they've done their first 2. Trying to fight back in this game after 1 quarter of action here at Beaver Stadium here in Happy Valley. The score, Penn State 14, Michigan nothing, but Michigan with a chance to change that coming up on the other side of the quarter break. I think right now every person in the stadium is reminding themselves it's a 14-0 game because about 5 minutes in real time ago, everyone in the stadium was thinking Penn State's about to put this game away. If not a touchdown, they'll kick a chip shot field goal, make it 17-0. 3 scores, and we're not even sure if Michigan's offense can get to 17 for the whole game. They're on the doorstep of 7 right now, and to make it a 1-score game. But I think everyone's remembering right now, Penn State has not punted once this entire game. Meanwhile, Michigan's punted twice. The Michigan defense still looking for a real stop. And worth noting here at the quarter break for Michigan, when they were in the red zone there, they were going right into the teeth of the Penn State student section over here. Off to our right. They're able to flip over to the left where the student section will be a full 100 yards away from them. Perhaps worth noting in a red zone situation, if Michigan perhaps tries to use a hard count of some sort or wants to get on the same page with the offense in general. They've struggled in the red zone so far this year with a few exceptions. And I think that's a great observation. It's going to be a lot more friendly on that side. Of course, it's not going to be friendly at all, but not nearly as rough as playing right in front of the student section. On this side of the end zone where Michigan will be taking their first snap of the quarter, that is where the Michigan fans are, but they're not really doing a whole lot of damage to this crowd besides ruining the color coding, adding a little bit of blue and yellow to the mix, but they're so far up, I'd have to estimate they're a good 30, 40 feet above the field of play. They're not going to be able to impact the noise very much. I have a feeling we'll hear a nice eruption from that side of the stadium should Michigan be able to punch it in here on the other side of the quarter break. They will have a 1st and 3 opportunity, so 3 chances to get in, barring a turnover. I know it's a little bit farther out, but at least personally, I'd like to see something that Michigan hasn't gone to as much this year, but was extremely effective last year. That's the Khalid Hill run up the middle. That's one of my personal favorite plays they run. I don't know about you. What are you expecting here? Who doesn't love the big man touchdown? I think that's everyone's favorite play in football, whether it be a defensive big man or an offensive big man. Khalid Hill looks like a defensive tackle out there. When he punches the ball, and it is electrifying. And I don't think the Michigan offense has utilized him enough. That's how they got this drive started. That's how they got themselves into positive net yards on the day, by getting a good early first down 8-yard gain to Khalid Hill. I really recommend that Michigan try to do that again. And we'll see the first goal line set by either team. It's 14-0, but the touchdowns have came from so far out. We haven't seen a goal line set at all today.
Yeah, so far in that first quarter, if you want to look back at the numbers, Penn State outgained the Michigan offense by a whopping total of 183 yards to just 51. Michigan 0 for 2 converting on third downs. Penn State only 1 for 1, which shows you, as we said, just how far out they were scoring from. They didn't need to go to that third down conversion at all. Some other big plays. Penn State registered the only sack of the game on just the third offensive play for Michigan. Other than that, though, the defensive line's not too much of a presence in this game outside of containing the running backs a couple times on some run plays up his gut.
And conversely now, Michigan's offense hasn't seen a single third down this drive. And that begs the question, do you think this is 4-down territory?
You know, I think it has to be the way Penn State's been moving the ball. Interesting note here, we mentioned we wanted to see Khalid Hill. He is not in the ball game right now. Michigan does have a heavy set out there, though, with 3 tight ends along with Poggi in the backfield, I formation, Karan Higdon right behind them. So Michigan a true goal line set here. McEwen goes in motion to the right, now goes back to the left. McCorn takes a step, hands left to Higdon. He finds a little bit of room at the middle, but not enough as he stopped down at the 1-yard line.
Not a touchdown, but that's the kind of game Michigan needs to really shorten this field. And now we see Khalid Hill walk onto the field in replace of Poggi.
So Khalid Hill now running onto the field. We expect him to get the ball. Maybe Michigan goes some sort of misdirection here. The big man lining up right behind John O'Corn. Higdon behind him. 3 tight ends, 1 to the left, 2 off to the right side. O'Corn under center now. Penn State got their big package and they hand it to Khalid Hill. He fights forward, trying to get the touchdown. He reaches out. No signal yet from the referees. Down at about the half-yard line is Khalid Hill. Looks like his forward progress was stopped before he was able to reach the ball across.
A surprising call to me. To me, it appeared he had been able to push the pile and get across. Although maybe a whistle was blown to stop his forward progress. I don't think he ever hit the ground on that play.
He never hit the ground, but I did think his forward progress stopped. He went more of a leap. He normally just plows into the back of his offensive lineman and pushes forward. He went for more of a leap there and got stopped. But there's about the best vertical on the team, I don't think.
There's about a hair between the goal line and the nose of the football right now.
We'll see if they go back to Hill. He's the fullback. Higdon behind him. 3 tight ends, 1 to the right, 2 to the left. They go right back to Hill over the middle. He cuts and slow misdirection play, and down at the half-yard line again is the call. John O'Corn seemed to think it was a touchdown from the field, and Michigan, the kicking unit, not coming onto the field yet. We'll see what Jim Harbaugh decides to say.
Given how dominant Penn State's offense has been, I think you have to go for it here. Even if you don't come up with it, you're going to limit their offense.
The Michigan offense thought it was a touchdown. It was not. There's about 3 inches between the nose of the football and the goal line here. The Michigan offense is going to be on the field. Jim Harbaugh wants to talk to the referees, though, before we get on with the action. I don't know if he wants a review here or if he's just calling a timeout.
I'm with you here. I'm not certain what he's looking for. We have yet to receive an official announcement.
And it looks like they are going to the replay booth. It will be a review. Again, all the Michigan players, the offensive linemen laying on the ground, seem to put their hands up. I thought it was Patrick Kugler, the center, was laying on his back, put his hands up in a touchdown motion. We haven't seen a good angle quite yet from our vantage point. We're getting a look now on the scoreboard video, and it looks to me like Khalid Hill is indeed just a little bit short of the end zone. Looks like a great call by the referee on the near sideline.
I have to give credit to the refs. It looked like he was in from my view. However, they have a great angle they're showing right up here on the big boards in Happy Valley. And you can clearly see Hill's elbow down with the ball maybe 6 inches in front of the goal line.
So we'll get the announcement here. And indeed it is confirmed. As we said, great call there. We expect it to be confirmed after the replay. Michigan has the offensive unit in the huddle. They're going to send them out once again here. And that big formation again, the 3 tight ends along with Khalid Hill and Higdon.
No surprise here in the formation. We haven't seen what formation they're coming out to yet, but we've seen the personnel, and it is the jumbo package.
We'll see if Michigan goes for what they did last year in the Ohio State game. Give it to Khalid Hill one more time to convert on his last chance. There's 1 tight end to the left, 2 to the right. Hill in the backfield. He moves towards the left now. They pitch it out to Higdon. He runs left. He might have the corner, and he does. Touchdown! Touchdown, Karan Higdon. Touchdown, Michigan. And they are just about to cut the lead in half.
A risky play call there. The ball was pitched to Higdon about the 6-yard line. Had he gotten tackled for a big loss, that could have really shifted momentum and given the Penn State offense, which we know is so lethal, some green grass to work with to try to get the ball forward. But it pays off for a Michigan touchdown.
It was the backup linebacker, Brandon Smith, trying to chase down Karan Higdon off to the left side of Michigan's formation. As now Quinn Nordine gets his first action. He's on the field for the first time and getting booed here by Penn State fans. Of course, he flipped from Penn State to Michigan commit, and he misses the extra point. I don't know if the crowd got to him or what, but the normally solid Quinn Nordine just shanked that one wide right. So we thought the lead was going to get cut in half here, but instead it'll stand at Michigan 6, Penn State 14.
And Nordine has not missed an extra point attempt all season. He hasn't missed a single kick of any kind since that opener against Florida. A surprising miss, and maybe a bit of karma, who knows, for flipping his commitment on Penn State.
I know there's about 90 to 100,000 fans here. I definitely would like to think it is a little bit of karma. Of course, Quinn Nordine was at the heart of the classic Jim Harbaugh recruiting story. A Penn State commit for a while there out of Rockford, Michigan. Jim Harbaugh went over to Mr. Nordine's house and stayed the night, the famous Harbaugh sleepover. And that's what got Quinn Nordine to flip to the Wolverines, and that's been so solid all year long. Hadn't missed an extra point, hadn't missed any sort of kick since that first ball game, but he does here, and that's potentially huge if Michigan can get their way back in this ball game and make it a little bit closer. That 1 point might be a huge difference.
And I think that miss right there is what all the Penn State faithful wanted to see. Get a little revenge at Nordine, although it's hard to blame a kid for wanting to attend school in his home state. Nonetheless, I'm sure that'll be a big takeaway from the Penn State faithful after this game. Nordine shockingly misses an extra point. He's taken the nation by storm with his amazing kicking debut against Florida.
Yeah, he's certainly taken, at the very least, Wolverine Nation by storm, as you mentioned. Immediately a star on the map. And quick fact update for you here. That's the first missed extra point for Michigan since 2011.
And I have to confess, I was so used to these, I was not really looking to see if it was going to go in. I saw the ball roll down the net, assumed everything was fine, then heard the crowd erupt, and I realized, oh, he missed it. Just a complete shock so far.
And it looked like he might have just shanked it to the right, but we have to look at the replay, see if there's maybe something wrong with the snap from Cheeseman or the hold from Garrett Moores. Of course, Garrett Moores, the defending Pete Mortel holder of the year. May have made a mistake there. We're not sure. We haven't seen a replay personally yet. We'll have to take a look at that.
Either way, a true special teams legend might have made a mistake on that one, whether it be Garrett Moores or Quinn Nordine.
Special teams legend here at Michigan so far. A little early, I think, to call Quinn Nordine a special teams legend, but I'll give you Garrett Moores. I will give you Garrett Moores, special teams legend for the Wolverines. The only Pete Mortel Holder of the Year award winner in the country not named Pete Mortel. So,
and we don't know what happened there, but he may have cost himself his candidacy for a repeat.
We'll see. We'll have to look at the replay. If you are watching at home and you saw a replay of that extra point, tweet us at WCBN Sports. Tell us what you saw. We don't have the best camera angles up here in this Penn State booth, though it is certainly a sight to see. They got us set up pretty nice here at Penn State overlooking the field. Also, take a look. We have our cameraman Austin Fisher on the site taking pictures. Those will be on WCBNsports.org later on this week. You can go to WCBNsports.org, not only listen to broadcasts, as I'm sure some of you are doing right now, but also read the various blog posts we've been putting out throughout the past few weeks. They're really picking up the pace. A lot of newer faces, a lot of newer names you're going to see on those blog posts doing a fantastic job, so definitely make sure to check those out when you head over to WCBNsports.org.
And maybe one of Austin Fisher's photos can reveal the great mystery, the almost paradoxical question: an extra point is missed. Whose fault is it? Garrett Moores or Quinn Nordine?
And if what it sounds like here, our technician in the back here, Jeremy Parks, alerting us here, and it looked like Michigan was offsides or just lined up offsides on the 4th and 1, maybe a false start on that 4th and 1, in which Karan Higdon punched it into the end zone. Did not go as called I didn't notice it live. It didn't seem like many people on the field over here noticed it live, as we'll get a replay here.
Hard to see what happened, but
it looked like it was a false start. It looked like maybe should have been called. It looked like Jawan Bush-Beater, Michael Onwenu rather, on that right side. He put his hand back. Didn't necessarily start his forward motion, but probably should have been called. Was not called. Michigan got away with that one there.
And another careless penalty that was almost committed by the Michigan Wolverines. Onwenu on the right side, not where the ball went. Obviously, it's important to pick up all blockers. But you have to wonder why Onwenu was so nervous as to have a false start that went uncalled.
And oddly enough, it looked like we were going to get going here about 2 or 3 minutes ago, or about 2 minutes ago. But instead, our TV guy dressed all in red. If you ever go to a college football game or a pro football game for that matter, you can always know when the TV timeouts are going on based on if the guy in red or the guy in the red hat's out there on the field. He's standing out there about the 20-yard line now, conferring with one of the referees. Not sure what's up. I'm guessing just an extra long commercial break here. This is, as you mentioned, the game of the week. College game day was here. A lot of eyes on Happy Valley tonight. A lot of eyes in Happy Valley tonight. I expect attendance up near the 100,000 mark at the very least. Probably get the attendance sometime around the third quarter-ish. We will let you know as soon as we do.
And the Michigan kickoff unit has been on the field for going on 3 minutes now. I think everyone in the stadium was anticipating a kickoff, but we're waiting for commercial break. I think all eyes are on this game and the other ranked matchup, which is USC versus Notre Dame.
That one down in South Bend, and I believe we got reports the color-on-color matchup. That's something you see often in college football. Notre Dame in the blues, USC in the reds. So a couple of premier college matchups going on today. 4 historic programs, of course, those 2 in South Bend and the 2 here in Happy Valley. Where the score sits Penn State 14, Michigan 6, with 12:53 remaining here in the first half of play. Story of the game to this point, we'll recap it if you're just joining us now. Penn State jumping out to an early 14-0 lead on a couple of Saquon Barkley touchdown runs. They were up 14-0 less than 5 minutes into the ball game. Just when they looked like they were going to go up by more, it was David Long, big interception for the Wolverines. They really shift the momentum. He brought all the way back out to the Michigan 40-yard line. Eventually resulted in a Michigan touchdown drive capped off by Teron Higdon's 1-yard run.
I think a lot of fans may have switched over to that USC Notre Dame game up until that interception that really flipped momentum, and we have a game here. It's a 1-score game, albeit an 8-point game.
The Michigan defense, though, hasn't shown that they can stop Penn State, though. They did get that interception, but it looked like it was more of a miscommunication between Gesicki and Missorley that resulted in the pick. Michigan defense needs to show they can stop Penn State and really get themselves back into this ballgame. So James Fogue to kick off now. It's Saquon Barkley back in his own end zone, about 4 yards deep. Fogue, the lefty, boots it. He boots it deep into the end zone. Saquon Barkley is going to feel it about 3 yards deep. He'll take it out. He's running towards the right. He bounces out to the right. Michigan, though, able to contain him, and he's pushed out the 14-yard line. Great coverage there by Michigan on another high kick by James Fogue. Just textbook execution there on the kickoff for the Wolverines.
And Barkley hesitated for a second. I think James Franklin will be upset with that decision. He has returned one already this year. But when you're up 8, part of the reason why James Franklin accepted the ball when he won the coin toss was to get this lead and not have to force anything. I don't think Barkley needed to run that one. Of course, where Penn State has started their drives has not mattered much at all.
So it looks like sideline warning there for Michigan on that play. No yardage tacked on there, as it was just a sideline warning. Penn State will begin with their worst field position of the day at their own 15-yard line. Michigan defense looking for a big stop here if they can get it. They'll start out, Penn State will. McSorley alone in the backfield. 2 wide receivers split out left, along with Mike Gesicki. Off to the right, 1 wide receiver, and Saquon Barkley split wide out to the left, or right out to the right. He's on David Long. McSorley is going to look to run rather, but he is brought down by Maurice Hurst right in the middle. That's going to be a big sack there, loss of about 5 yards, all the way back down to the Penn State 10-yard line.
I think there was some confusion there by the Penn State offensive line. Maurice Hurst really walked unblocked for the last 5 steps he made. No one was on him. To be fair, the last 2 weeks, Mo Hurst has basically been unblockable. Grading out his Pro Football Focus's
best defensive player, not just best defensive tackle, best defensive player last week against Indiana.
And there's a reason why nearly every mock draft out there right now has him as a first rounder.
Penn State, 3 wide receivers split out left now. One is Barkley, who now comes to McSorley's left in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Barkley going up the middle. He cuts to the right, but he's going to be stopped in the backfield for a 5-yard loss, rather a 4-yard loss. It was Rashawn Gary and Kalik Hudson with the pressure, and Penn State going backwards on offense here. It's a 3rd and 19 from their own 6.
And for the first time, excluding the touchdown and the interception, you really heard the Michigan presence here. The Michigan crowd make their presence here with a small but audible roar.
And now they're standing up in that top corner of the end zone, trying to make some noise. A little hard to hear from all the way over here, but a little bit of noise being heard for this 3rd and 19. Penn State 3 split out to the left, 2 to the right, including Saquon Barkley. McSorley alone in the backfield. He takes the snap. He's looking left now to the right, and it's picked off. No, it's not. Kalik Hudson dropped the ball. He had a pick in the end zone. Looks was going to be a screenplay, but it fell out of his hands as he came to the ground, and that would have been humongous.
Nonetheless, you can hear the change momentum in the crowd. Penn State, it went from Michigan was just terrified of anything Penn State would do, and now the Penn State offense is terrified of this Wolverine defense. Nearly just tied the game up right there on that interception, pending a 2-point conversion, which I don't think they'd attempt so early. But the Penn State's going to have to punt out of the back of their own end zone now, and it looks like Donovan Peoples-Jones is standing at his own 48 with room to run.
He is. It's Blake Gilligan getting the punt off. He kicks it towards the short sideline. Good kick, though. Peoples-Jones fields all the way back at his own 37-yard line and twisted out of bounds there. Great tackle made by Irvin Charles. The wide receiver was playing gunner on that play.
And a fantastic punt, inbounds, but right beside the sideline. I don't think Irvin Jones' tackle would have been able to slow down Peoples-Jones and bring him to the ground. However, it was right by the sideline, so he could force Jones out. And despite the great defensive effort by the Michigan Wolverines, their offense will only start the ball at their own 36.
Yeah, it really just a great kick there by Blake Gilligan. So Michigan will start with the ball at their own 36-yard after the 56-yard punt. They come out, 1 wide receiver split left, 1 to the right. They got Poggi in the backfield, Higdon behind him in the I formation, 1 tight end to the right of the formation. Fakes the handoff, does O'Connor. Now he finds a lot of room to run on that right side. Looked like he had some space to run, but thought better of it with 2 Penn State defenders closing in. It was Amani Oruware who ended up making the tackle.
And it's important to note Michigan's only touchdown drive so far started around midfield.
So now Michigan coming in, 1 wide receiver split out right, 2 tight ends, tight formation, 1 wide receiver to the left. They hand off to Higdon going up the middle. He cuts to the left, bites off a tackler, bites off 2 tacklers, but is eventually tripped up and brought down by Jason Kabinda after a gain of about 4 yards. So a 3rd and 3 upcoming for Michigan at their own 43-yard line.
And Penn State's defense would love to get off the field right now. A long drive for the Michigan offense, followed by a short one for the Penn State offense. They've been on the field a lot so far.
Michigan has too many men on the field. They're going to have to call timeout. Jack Gentry ran on there late after they already had the 5 designated skill players, or rather the 6 designated skill players, including John Alcorn out there in the ball game. Just scrambling with the Wolverines on 3rd and short here. Have to call their first timeout. The first timeout of the game called by either team with 10:30 remaining here in the 2nd quarter.
And that's just what the doctor ordered for the Penn State defense. They've been on the field for, I'd say, about maybe 10 minutes of real time for that last Michigan drive. Then their offense goes 3 and out very quickly. They have to go back out on the field. I'm sure they're appreciating that breather. Might have been a smart decision for James Franklin to call a timeout there. Instead, they get a timeout at the expense of Michigan.
So I think we've seen, it's fair to say, in the last couple games that have featured Harbaugh versus Franklin. Harbaugh has been the better coach in those matchups in terms of on-the-field coaching or in-game coaching. But today, a couple slip-ups there by Harbaugh. The offense didn't look quite ready until that review on the 4th and short they end up scoring on the 1 touchdown of the ball game. Right here, Michigan having to call timeout on that 3rd and 3 after scrambling a little bit. And James Franklin, like you said, going by that decision early on to get out to an early lead, which I think we agree is a good idea here when you have that Penn State offense the way it is. So James Franklin definitely impressing with his coaching so far early on in this one. At least in my opinion. I don't know what you are thinking personally, Dan.
I think James Franklin's pregame decisions, whatever he was looking at the film, was impeccable. With 2 teams that might not be evenly matched, but are certainly 2 very high-caliber teams, it's rare to see one team come out to such a dominant start. Maybe Harbaugh's done better on the in-game coaching, I might have to say, because of the adjustments he's made to keep his team in this game. nonetheless, I'd have to say James Franklin has won the coaching battle so far with how prepared his team was.
We'll see if Jim Harbaugh can dial up something maybe creative here on third down to get those last 3 yards they need, or if they go right back to the bread and butter, which at least last week against Indiana, who had a stout run defense, but not as stout as this Penn State run defense is. That defensive line in general. Those starters across the front line, Sharif Miller, Curtis Cawthorn, Parker Cawthorn, and Ryan Buchholz.
And we really haven't seen a third and medium, if you will, so far for the Wolverines. It's all been third and long, with exception to that third and goal, which they did not convert, but then punched in on fourth and goal, where Karan Higdon had to sprint for his life to get in there. Ended up injuring a female photographer on the sideline. Thankfully, she appears to be okay after being carted off.
Good eye, Daniel. I didn't even catch that personally, but glad to see she was hopefully okay. If we get an update on that, we'll keep you updated there. I don't think they normally provide updates on photographers in game, but
and we're certainly hoping
we will.
We're hoping for the safety of our own photographer, Austin Fisher.
Here we are. Looking to get some good shots here. Perhaps a Michigan first down if they come out. 2 wide receivers split out to the right, 1 to the left. Tight end, it's McEwen, it looks like, to the right side of the formation. O'Korn in the shotgun with Higdon to his left. Referees blow the ball in, and here comes 3rd and 3. O'Korn surveys the defense, picks the leg up, and actually Chris Evans now moves to the right. He flares out to the right. We'll see if O'Korn tries to find him. He scrambles away, and he finds Chris Evans. Did he make the catch? He did, but it's going to be a yard short. He's brought down at the 45-yard line by Amani Owuware, who's on coverage there after Evans leaked out of the backfield. So 4th and 1. Is Michigan going to go for it? They are not.
It appeared they considered it. O'Korn was looking to the sideline, communicating with his coaches. They were out there for maybe a good 10 seconds after the play was whistled dead. Nonetheless, a wise call, I'd have to say here, bringing out the punting unit.
Perhaps another reason that Penn State offense is just so impactful on the game. You don't want to give Penn State only 45 yards to go on the field. So it'll be Robbins to punt, number 3, punting away to fellow number 3. It's DeAndre Tompkins. It's booted high in the air, very high kick here, all the way down to the 10-yard line. It bounces back, takes a Penn State bounce. It'll go out of bounds at the Penn State 13-yard line. So very similar field position to where they started last time. Very nice punt there by the freshman Brad Robbins.
And back-to-back fantastic punts, I'd have to say. Teams have, as they start to look more into the game, try to exploit any advantages they can find, teams have began to punt the ball right by the sideline. So it's really hard to do any damage on the return. There was a favorable Penn State bounce. Nonetheless, it goes right out of bounds. And Penn State will start the drive now with their worst field position all game.
Penn State at their own 13-yard line after a 3-and-out last time. The first one forced by Michigan, almost a pick for a touchdown. They come out now, 2 wide receivers split right, 1 to the left. Gasecki tight formation left, and Saquon Barkley to McSorley's left in the backfield. McSorley now looks to the sideline. Saquon switches over from the left to the right of his quarterback. And it looks like a read option play here. Run pass option as the pass is completed over the middle. It's Jawan Johnson for a gain of about 11, 12 yards. It's going to be a first down out to the 25-yard line. Josh Patelis, safety, can't to make the play. Great read there by McSorley. And finally hit one of those run pass option passes.
And I have to commend Jawan Johnson for holding on to that ball. He really took a shot.
Penn State moving quickly now. 2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Gasecki tight to the formation to the right. Saquon Barkley to Trace McSorley's left in the backfield. They get the signs from the sideline. And it's going to be Saquon Barkley take a direct snap yet again. A little read option play. Barkley keeps it. He starts left, then cuts right, and finds no room whatsoever as he's swallowed up in the middle of that Michigan defense. Chase Winovich was the first one to grab him down by the ankles for a gain of about 1 or 2 yards. We'll see exactly where they spot it. It looks like it's going to be a gain of about 1.5.
And it's really been a tale of 2 quarters, if you will, so far in this first half. Back-to-back positive gains, but nothing like we saw in those first 2 drives where it was huge chunk plays every time.
2 wide receivers split right, 2 to the left, including Barkley. It's Gasecki tight to formation to the right. McSorley stays alone in the backfield after checking for the sideline. He's dropping back to pass. He's facing pressure, though, from Khalid Hudson. He throws it away. That did not get back to the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they rule that Saquon Barkley was in the area, but if he was not, that should be an intentional grounding.
We're getting an explanation from the referees.
And they did rule that Barkley coming across the middle was in the area. I think that's about the right call. He was about 5 to 7 yards away running over the middle. But great pressure there from Khalid Hudson flying off the edge. Forced McSorley into what could have been a disastrous disastrous decision. Instead, Penn State faced about 3rd and 8.5, we'll say. 2 wide receivers split right, 1 to the left. Gasecki, tight to formation left. Barkley to McSorley's left. McSorley looks right now. He's going deep. He's got a man, and he drops it in the bucket. What a grab there by Deshaun Hamilton. The coverage was Tyree Cannell, but a beautiful pass, beautiful catch to Penn State all the way down into Michigan territory to the 46-yard line.
And the Penn State receivers have done a fantastic job gaining possession. That's the 3rd highly contested pass today we've seen them come up with the ball.
Just beat his man on the fade route. And again, just a beautiful pass by McSorley. He had to put it maybe 1 or 2 spots, and he found that exact spot there. Penn State moving quickly now. 2 wide receivers split left, 1 to the right. Gasecki, tight to formation left. Saquon Barkley to McSorley's left in the backfield. Now he'll switch over to McSorley's right after the call comes in from the sideline. McSorley now looks like a read option here. He does not hand off to Barkley, keeps it himself, but he's tripped up after a gain of about 4 yards by Chase Winovich.
And one thing to consider, Penn State has done a fantastic job of A, avoiding 3rd downs, and then secondly, picking up 3rd downs. They've moved to 2 and 3 on the night on 3rd downs.
That was a 3rd and long, too. Very impressive. Now 3 split out left, 2 to the right for Penn State. Barkley is one of the ones split out to that left. Always have to keep the eye on the Heisman candidate. McSorley now looks over to the sideline, and Barkley will move into the backfield to McSorley's left. McSorley now reading the defense. Takes a snap here, drops back to pass, fakes to his left, now goes back to his left. Wide open is his receiver. It's Deshaun Hamilton again. He's able to fight for about 6 yards and pick up just enough for the 1st down. It was Devin Bush, David Long, and Khalid Hudson all swarming to the ball, but just about a half yard too late, because that'll be a Penn State 1st down.
He collides with 3 defenders and picked up exactly what he needed. Penn State already back in field goal range.
They're at Michigan's 36-yard line. And worth noting, I don't know exactly what the range of Tyler Davis is. I saw in warm-ups he was not hitting very many from that distance on this side of the field. Penn State now 2 wide receivers to the right, as now Barkley shifts back to the read option again with him taking the direct snap. He keeps it, goes up the middle, tries to cut a couple times, but does not find much room on that Michigan defensive front. Looked like he found the man in the middle there. It was Mike McCray. Looked like Khalid Hudson and Michael Dwumfor also in on the action. Gain of 2, it's 2nd and 8.
And as we're approaching the 6-minute mark, I think Michigan is currently thinking they will have enough time for sure to get 1 more possession in this half, and they receive the ball 2nd half, an important thing to note.
Have to stop Penn State first, of course. 3 split out to the right, 2 to the left, including Barkley. Barkley now motions in the backfield to McSorley's left. McSorley looks over the defense, now drops back to pass. He's looking towards the left. He's got Barkley on a wheel route. He's beat McCray, and he's able to drop the ball. He had a lot of open field, but I think he heard footsteps over there from the approaching safety. I don't know if that was Hudson or Cannell. They both were over there, but right through the hands of Saquon Barkley went the pass. So that'll bring up 3rd and long.
And everyone in the stadium knew Barkley was open. I heard about 15 got him before the ball was even released, and I think Barkley may have looked ahead downfield, was afraid of who he was going to have to beat, ended up losing focus and dropping the open pass.
So perhaps Barkley too fast for his own good on that one. He'll come out of the game with Miles Sanders replacing him at running back to McSorley's left. And Miles Sanders will take the direct snap here. It's that read option play. He heads out to McSorley going left, and McSorley's not going to find much room as he's chased out of bounds by Mike McCray after a gain of 1, maybe 0. They're going to give him 1 yard on it. So it's going to bring up 4th and 7. Penn State looking like they're definitely going to go for it here after running on 3rd and long.
An interesting play call here. I was thinking field goal right away, but maybe they don't have confidence in their kicker's range. Nonetheless, this is certainly 4-down territory if you choose to do so. A field goal would make it a 2-score game again.
Yeah, going for it. Worth noting, it's still Miles Sanders out there, not Saquon Barkley in the left field, or in the backfield to McSorley's left. They got 2 wide receivers split right, 1 to the left. Gasecki also off to the left side. Michigan showing pressure early here. It's McCray. Might have been over the nose of the ball. No flag thrown as McSorley throws it up deep. He's going to Deshaun Hamilton again, but swatted away by Lavert Hill. The crowd wants a flag, but it looked like just a bunch of hand fighting there, and a great play by Lavert Hill. And that's a turnover on downs. Michigan's going to get the ball at their own 33-yard line.
I think a fantastic no call. The fans are not going to agree with me, but it appeared, if anything, Deshaun Hamilton began the hand fighting. Nonetheless, I think that's a no call either way. Both players were getting into it. Hard to say either one was more deserving of a penalty than the other. But now that flips field position a bit here, Michigan will get decent field position with about 5 minutes to play, 5:05 exactly to go in this second quarter. Michigan has to be licking their chops right now. If they can get down the field, get some kind of points on the board, and eat up a lot of the clock, not give the fantastic Penn State offense any opportunities to score, they will receive the ball second half, and they can defy all odds and possibly be leading this game with early in this third quarter.
Yeah, Michigan, as you mentioned, 5:05 on the clock. Worth noting their touchdown drive went 5:28 in time. They started that one, though, at their own 41-yard line, so a little bit farther up than they're starting right about now. We'll see if they can march down the field once again, maybe, like you said, use up that clock, and maybe find themselves right back in this game by halftime.
And as we wind down the stretch here in this second quarter, it's worth noting Penn State 3 timeouts, Michigan 2 with that one wasted timeout on third down on the last drive that ended up resulting in a 4th and 1.
So both teams, as you said, maybe try to play for that extra possession. We'll see exactly how it works out there.
Also worth noting, Penn State has outgained the Michigan Wolverines 228 to 63 yards. That feels a little bit surprising. You have to remember most of that came on chunk plays, but those chunk plays have really made the difference in this game. Really shocking here because for the past about 20 minutes of gameplay, it's been a pretty even game, but Penn State still well ahead, 165 yards ahead of the Michigan Wolverines in total offense.
Yeah, since Penn State scored on both of their first 2 drives of the ball game, they've gone interception, punt on a 3-and-out, and right there the turnover on downs after a 10-play drive that covered 54 yards. So even when they're turning the ball over with that interception and the turnover on downs, they're still gaining over 50 yards of offense on their drives, which pads those stats just a little bit. But I do think that undersells a little bit how much better Michigan has looked. It's only really been one huge drive on offense, but they look much more competent, much more relaxed, much more composed as they try to attack a very good Penn State defense.
Certainly, I think at this point now, both teams really respect each other and what they can do, and they're both afraid of each other now rather than Michigan really being back on their heels, up against the ropes the entire first quarter up until that interception. Penn State has to be kicking themselves, though. They're statistically dominating this game in every category besides 4th down conversions, where they trail 0-1 to 1-1.
Also interceptions.
Yeah, good, excellent point. Yes, turnovers as well.
That was really the big blow of the game, is that turnover. We talk about turnover margin a lot when you talk about football broadcasts, but really showing why it's important today. So Michigan opting not to come out in heavy formation to start the drive as they normally do. They come out with 2 wide receivers split to the right, 2 wide receivers split to the left, rather. 1 to the right. That's the short end of the field, is the right side. It looks like it's Eddie McDoom in motion from that right to left. O'Korn giving the ball to Higdon, running right. Higdon cuts it up just a little bit there. Ended up cutting back in the backfield and eventually finding a little bit of space as he gets about a yard on the play to the Michigan 34.
And Michigan has not picked up a single first down when they gain more than half the yardage they need for the first down on that first play of the drive.
So Nico Collins getting into the game now. He'll be in on this next drive. He runs out to the left side of the formation. Donald Peoples-Jones over to the right in a bunch formation with McEwen and Gentry. It's Higdon in the backfield. Single back formation behind O'Korn under center. O'Korn drops straight back now. He's facing pressure to his left but finds a wide open hole in the middle. He's got room to run. He cuts up towards the middle of the field. He gets all the way down to about midfield to Michigan's 48-yard line. First down. Well done there by John O'Korn to evade the pressure, and he's showing the difference between him and Wilton Spade. But Michigan running quickly now. Comes out about same personnel there with 2 wide receivers. This time they fake the handoff up the middle to Higdon. He finds Donovan Peoples-Jones crossing over the middle all the way down Penn State 33-yard line. Run out of bounds by Grant Haley. But Michigan picking up those chunk plays now with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
Fantastic speed right there. Michigan ended up getting that snap off before the chain crew was even set up. They had not placed the first down marker yet before the snap, and they have to get up and move it again. Now this time Michigan elects to enter a huddle and slow down the pace a bit.
More personnel changes. Kakoa Crawford comes in the game. He's split out to the left. It's Gentry McEwen tight to the left formation. It's where Crawford's out to the right is Poggi and Isaac in the backfield in an I formation behind O'Korn. O'Korn takes the snap, hands it to Isaac, running up the middle. Isaac cuts a little bit, just a bit there. Able to pick up about 5 yards, we'll say, based on the spot. So Ty Isaac getting involved here. It'll be 2nd and about 5 for Michigan.
His first carry of the game and a good one after being in the doghouse all game against Michigan State after allowing a fumble that set up a Michigan State touchdown, and touchdowns were few and far between in that game.
So Michigan now coming out. Grant Perry in the slot to the left. Donald Keepers-Jones spread out wide to the left. The tight end is McEwen, it looks like, off to the right. Poggi in the backfield. Isaac still behind him in the eye. Penn State showing pressure off the left side. It's coming as O'Korn drives back to pass, but he's able to scramble. He finds a man downfield and overthrows Grant Perry just by a little bit. The Penn State coaches are furious on the sideline. I think they thought that John O'Korn was over the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball.
And I thought about that too. I think his foot was right behind the line of scrimmage at the time of the throw, making it legal.
Only part of your body has to be behind it, as you're saying.
Absolutely. And only a second incompletion of the day. When Penn State has brought the heat, O'Korn has done very well, either scrambling for big yardage or finding a receiver downfield. A little bit better control on that ball, and that's a big pickup for the Wolverines, who are already in field goal position on third down.
As the Undertaker's gongs hit here, Michigan is faced with a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 here. Empty backfield for O'Korn. There's 5 split out. There was 3 to the left, 2 to the right. He throws a deep ball here. Could go Crawford on the left side and brought in by Crawford at the 6-yard line. What a throw by John O'Korn. He took a walloping hit on that one as there was a free rusher from Penn State and put it in a spot where only Kekoa Crawford could make the grab.
A fantastic throw. I think people have been starting to notice this. John O'Korn might be better when facing pressure. He had to get that ball out to avoid a big sack and going out of field goal position.
Michigan running quickly. 2 wide receivers split out right. 1 to left. Higdon in the backfield in the shotgun formation. He hands it off to Higdon. That's John O'Korn. Higdon looked like he broke a tackle, fought forward a little bit. I thought he was stopped for sure. Ends up picking up about a yard. The ball was originally spotted at the 7 on that play. Now he gets down to the 6.
And I'm surprised Michigan snapped the ball so quickly. There is still 2:12 and counting to go in this first half. They really do not want to give the fantastic Penn State offense another chance with the ball. They will get the ball with less than 2 minutes, but they can do damage in 10 seconds if need be.
Heavy formation, including Tyrone Wheatley, the blocking tight end to the right. Michigan in a very large eye. It was McEwen, then Poggi, then Ty Isaac. Now McEwen motioned off to the left side as Michigan hands it off going left. It's Isaac. He bounces, finds a hole at the middle. He's marching for the end zone and touchdown! Touchdown Ty Isaac, touchdown Michigan. And they are just about back in this ball game. The score, Penn State 14, Michigan 12. They're not going to go for 2 just yet here, though.
I think that's the wise call. You don't want to make up those points so early in the game when you don't know what's going to happen. Ty Isaac has really earned his forgiveness from John Harbaugh so far in this game.
We'll see if Quinn Nordine can make up for his earlier mistake. Michigan having a little trouble getting the right personnel on there for the extra point. They finally do. We'll take an extra close look at this extra point we weren't looking before as Quinn Nordine once again faces the Boo Birds here at Beaver Stadium. It'll be Cheeseman to snap, Morris to hold. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and that one is right down the middle.
Couldn't do a better kick. He actually kicked it over the net, and some fans have it in the crowd. It looks like there was some fighting for it. A Penn State fan got it, but he's throwing it back down to the grounds crew. And I think the Penn State fans, they really saw how well their Boo Birds worked off last time. They were making it as uncomfortable as possible for Quinn Nordine on that kick, and he nailed it.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman recovering nicely from the earlier mistake. Looked extremely good there on that second extra point, his second attempt of the game. So the score will be Penn State 14, Michigan 13. Again, that extra point missed earlier looms large with 1:45 left to play here in the first half of action.
Total yardage has become a bit more even now with 130 to 228 still obviously favoring Penn State. Current third down conversions, Michigan picked up their first one on that drive. They're now 1 for 5, while Penn State is 2 for 4. And a question we haven't asked at all this season, did Michigan score too quickly? Was their offense too good on that last drive?
Yeah, worth noting. I was about to say, they looked almost like Penn State's offense. They only took 3 minutes and 20 seconds to score there, and they marched down the field for 67 yards.
And what's looming on everyone's mind, Michigan will receive the opening kickoff of the second half.
First and foremost, though, Michigan defense back on the field, try to contain Saquon Barkley and that Penn State offense to give themselves a chance to take the lead early in the second half. It'll be James Fogue tasked with providing the field position here. Saquon Barkley at his goal line ready to receive. Fogue boots it, the lefty does. He kicks it all the way over towards the left side. Saquon Barkley's going to field about 2 yards deep in his end zone and makes the wise decision after what happened last time to take a knee. There were a lot of Michigan Wolverines getting through there. Very smart decision by Barkley to just take the ball at his own 25.
Penn State has preserved their timeouts so far in this half, and it's paid off nicely. They have 105 seconds and 3 timeouts to move the ball let's say maybe 70 yards to get into good field goal position, or why not get a touchdown, make it an 8-point game again for when Michigan receives the ball in the second half.
Yeah, worth noting, Penn State did have that late drive against Iowa to win the game with less time on the clock and no timeouts, so certainly capable of scoring from their own 25 is the Nittany Lion offense in a short amount of time. They'll come out here with two wide receivers split left, or two wide receivers split right, one to the left. Tight end Gesicki's to the left. Saquon Barkley is to Trace McSorley's right in the backfield in the shotgun. This one is snapped to McSorley, drops back to pass. He's looking towards the left. It's overthrown, though. Intended receiver Deshaun Hamilton. It was Tyree Cannell on the coverage. He wanted a push off there on Hamilton. There was a lot of separation there. I think he might have a legitimate gripe, does Cannell.
And with that pass, McSorley now drops to below 500 on completion percentage in this game. I don't think any of us would have anticipated O'Korn would outduel McSorley in the quarterback competition today.
McSorley 7 for 15, 94 yards, and 1 pick on the day. There are two wide receivers split right, two to the left. Gesicki is tight to the formation on the right. Worth noting, off to the left is Saquon Barkley on a cornerback. McSorley takes the snap now. He's looking right over the middle. He has a wide open receiver. It's Juwan Johnson. He makes a move. He's fighting over towards that right sideline. He picks up about 12 yards before finally being forced out by Lavert Hill.
Juwan Johnson fought hard to get out of bounds, and for good reason. They preserve all 3 timeouts, and to pick up that first down only took 11 seconds. Penn State has to like where they are right now. They got 12 yards in just 11 ticks of the clock.
They're at their own 37-yard line now after the 12-yard gain to Johnson. McSorley back up to an even 500, 8 for 16. He'll come out with two wide receivers split left, one to the right, Gesicki tight to the formation right, and Saquon Barkley to the right of McSorley in the backfield. McSorley now takes the snap, looking to pass. He's looking left. He's going deep there. Metellus has been beat by Deshaun Hamilton and dropped in the bucket. What a grab. What a throw and what a grab. Deshaun Hamilton all the way down to the Michigan 27-yard line.
I believe he went down inbounds, so the clock will begin ticking once the chains are set. But time is all of a sudden become not a factor at all as the clock now begins to tick. 124, 123, but 3 timeouts remaining for Penn State from their own 27, from Michigan's 27.
Two wide receivers right, two to the left, including Barkley. Gesicki, tight to formation right. Barkley comes now into the backfield and comes to McSorley's right. Comes in motion. Now it's handing off to Barkley going right. He bounces outside on Devin Bush and is able to get out of bounds after a gain of about 9 yards, forced out by Tyree Cannell. So the clock stopping again here with 1:08 remaining. Penn State at Michigan's 18-yard line. They'll face 2nd and 1.
Penn State has gone to the Michigan side of the field on 2 drives and come up empty-handed. A turnover is really the only foreseeable way for them to not score any points at this point. Time has become a very small factor now.
Now two wide receivers split off to the right. It's Tompkins and Hamilton. One to the left, it's Johnson. Gesicki tight formation to the right. Saquon Barkley to McSorley's left in the backfield. It's a speed option to the left now. Barkley makes the cut, but brought down by Mike McCray, able to shed off the block there. He was trying to be blocked by Ryan Bass, the left tackle, but Mike McCray snuffed that one out for a loss of 2. It'll bring up 3rd and 3 at the 20-yard line. That'll force Penn State to call their first timeout and think things over here on 3rd and short.
And a poor decision, I think, there by McSorley, who has really made great decisions all game, making a lot of pre-snap adjustments and running a very successful pass run offense, an option offense, I apologize. But really, I think he should have tucked it in there, tried to gain the 1 yard, or at least minimize the loss. Barkley was really covered by multiple defenders. And now we go from a 2nd and 1 to a 3rd and 3, and Michigan has to be thinking, if they bring up the stop here, they will have a chance to move the ball. Penn State taking their first time out after that play. So I don't think they're too horribly concerned about Michigan getting the ball back.
Yeah, you have to doubt that Michigan will really do anything on offense. They've struggled to move the ball aside from a couple of drives there, but saw maybe a little bit of quick strike ability in Michigan's offense last drive, but certainly I don't think they're going to go the length of the field. Maybe 4-down territory here for Penn State if they don't want to settle for a field goal, but you have to imagine the field goal very much in play here, and perhaps Michigan uses that timeout if they're able to get a stop here on 3rd down, which is very paramount. Penn State 2 for 4 on the day. This one is just a 3rd and 3. Technically still in the red zone, directly at the 20. Penn State going right into the mouth of their student section, which, as is normally the case, quiet while their team is on offense. But while we're in a timeout, they're making noise here for Seven Nation Army, waving the white palms they were given before the ball game, reminiscent of the maize palms we've seen at Michigan night games in the past.
Penn State took a while to drop the play they want. I think they're very intent on scoring a touchdown here.
Two wide receivers to the right. It's Tompkins and Hamilton. One to the left, Juwan Johnson and Gasecki in the slot. Saquon Barkley in the backfield to McSorley's right. McSorley looks ready for the snap. He takes it. He's looking to pass. He's looking left. He has a man on a wheel route. Kalik Hudson is jumped over by Mike Gasecki, who makes a great grab and gets 1 foot down and balanced at the 3-yard line. Those wheel routes absolutely killing Michigan.
And a very athletic catch there. His momentum was carrying him out of bounds. He just dips a toe down for an obvious completion. I think everyone knows that's good. Review confirms that. First and goal from the 3.
Penn State looking to score here. As you said, first and goal from the 3-yard line. McSorley in the backfield alone with 3 split out right, 1 to the left. Gasecki in the formation to the right. Now Barkley comes in motion, going right to left. McSorley keeps it and runs right up the middle of the field for a Penn State touchdown as the fireworks shoot off here at Beaver Stadium. And Penn State opens their lead back up to what currently sits at 7 points. The score 20-13.
A fantastic rebound by Penn State there. They felt so comfortable, then all of a sudden the game was a 1-point game out of nowhere, and now they rebound fantastically. They used less than a minute of clock to go down the field, score a touchdown, and now get back to a 7 or 8 point lead, extra point pending.
As we have to say, extra point pending, as we've already seen one missed extra point. That was Quinn Nordine from Michigan earlier on. It's Tyler Davis, the redshirt senior out of Dayton, Ohio, for the extra point for Penn State. He puts it up and through to convert there and stretch this lead out to 8 points for Penn State. It's going to be 21-13. Just 53 seconds remaining here in the first half. Daniel, do you expect Michigan to really try to do anything on offense here once they get this ball on the kickoff?
I do. They have 2 timeouts. They know they have to compete on offense in this game. They have to take a few risks. Their offense has really not shown any risk of turnover. And Penn State, I doubt, will get the ball with any significant amount of time if they do stop the Michigan offense. Michigan will be getting the ball second half, which is a bit of a deterrent from attempting to force anything. Nonetheless, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I try to move the ball downfield here, given how well the offense just performed on their last drive.
And perhaps dependent on the return as well here. We already saw an excellent return earlier on from Ambry Thomas. Thomas had a 43-yard return in his only attempt of the game. I doubt he gets a chance to return this one here. Penn State might try to pooch kick it to Brad Hawkins again, who's the short man. Going to set up around his own 7-ish yard line, maybe around the 10. Ambry Thomas back on his goal line off to the right of Hawkins. We'll see what Tyler Davis decides to go with here, as he's lined up for the kickoff here after Penn State's most recent touchdown to stretch the lead to 8. Davis has it all lined up. As mentioned, 2 deep men from Michigan. Ambry Thomas in his end zone. It will not go his way as a line drive kick over the head of Brad Hawkins into the end zone. He'll field in the end zone. And you said you expect to see Michigan try to go for it here, and the personnel coming on the field certainly seems as if they will try it. Personnel looks to be Gentry, Perry, Peoples-Jones, Crawford, and Higdon.
And we've seen several times this season bringing Donovan Peoples-Jones into the game right before halftime to try to move the ball downfield. And Purdue, it very nearly worked. O'Corn found him very deep down the field, couldn't complete the pass. We'll see if they attempt more of the same here to end the half.
He's on an island to the left with Christian Campbell. Over to the right, it's Grant Perry and Kekoa Crawford. Gentry's tight formation right. Higdon gets the ball. He was to the right of O'Corn. He hands the ball off right up the middle for a 1-yard gain. So Michigan going conservative here as the clock ticks down under 45 seconds to go.
And I don't anticipate a timeout unless a big play occurs. We'll see what they do.
They go 2 split out left, 2 to the right. They're running hurry up though. Higdon in the backfield. O'Corn drops back to pass. He tries to find some room. Doesn't seem to have anything going. He runs parallel to the line of scrimmage and finds a wide open Kekoa Crawford down the field. He'll get across the 50, but this one might be coming back on a holding call in the backfield.
Both teams are already marching back towards the original line of scrimmage. I think it's a foregone conclusion. This ball will be coming back.
And it was indeed a holding there. Our Will Yang spotted. He said Michael Owenu was one that's going to get hit with it.
And I think after that blow, you just have to hand the ball off 2 times and go to the locker room knowing you're getting the ball down 1 possession to start the half.
That's out of Penn State's quick strike offense. They could call a timeout if they stop Michigan on a couple plays here. Michigan comes still split out. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Gentry tight to the formation to the left. Higdon in the backfield to O'Corn's left. It'll be handoff to Higdon going up the middle. He cuts, powers forward for a few yards, but doesn't get a whole lot.
Wise play call, and the clock has stopped. It appears this is likely a Penn State timeout.
It is a Penn State timeout as Higdon was able to get it out to the Michigan 21-yard line, it looks like. But it's still going to be a 3rd and 14.
I anticipate another conservative handoff here from the Wolverines. That will leave about 18 seconds left on the clock.
We'll see about 23 seconds to go. Maybe the Penn State timeout forces Michigan into throwing, in which case Penn State will have the ball with about 10 to 15 seconds. Probably closer to 10 there to try to make a play. Maybe with 1 timeout if Michigan decides to throw and forces an incomplete pass. 24 seconds on the game clock now. Reset. Penn State defense coming out there trying to force a stop. They forced 4 stops so far on Michigan's 5 first downs in the ballgame, or 3rd downs rather, in the ballgame. Donovan Peoples-Jones split out wide to the left. This time, he'll be on an island with Omani Oluwale over there. It's Nicole Crawford, Grant Perry to the right. This time McEwen's in off to the right side. Higdon to O'Corn's left. O'Corn drops back the pass. He's looking over the middle, now looking back, now scrambling right. He's running, trying to keep the play alive. Finds McEwen on the sideline, pushed out of bounds is McEwen by Grant Haley after a gain of about 5 yards, it looks like. It's going to be 4th and 9 with 17 seconds left. Michigan's going to have to punt, and Penn State still does have that 1 timeout left.
Bizarre decision from O'Corn to throw so close to the sideline. It does help with field position a bit and choose a little bit of time off the clock, but that leaves Penn State with a timeout. And they will be getting the ball with decent position as the returner lines up at his own 30.
It's DeAndre Tompkins back to field the Brad Robbins punt. Last time Brad Robbins skied it in the air, had a lot of hang time. Jeremy Parks with his stopwatch ready. I imagine Robbins wants to do that again, but Penn State sending a block. Robbins gets it off though, not as much hang time. It's going to be fielded by Tompkins at his own 32. He's running towards the left. He might have the edge there, and he does, but forced out of bounds. Great play made. It was number 38 on the tackle, Jared Wengler.
Worth noting that play took up a whole 11 seconds. Penn State has 6 seconds. Enough time to run 1 play, but it's going to have to be quick. The timeout probably won't matter because there's no way really to get a play completed down the field and stop the clock. They'll be right at midfield at the 50-yard line is Penn State. Grass about to toss up a Hail Mary here, try to score. Not a bad option to give Saquon Barkley the ball in space and see what he can do. Penn State are looking conservative though. They come out in formation to kneel, which worth noting for Penn State is also in a pistol formation, something you don't see from many teams. Michele takes a couple steps and takes a knee, so they'll take it to half. The score here at halftime at Beaver Stadium sits at Penn State 21, Michigan 13. Very seesaw first half there, I would say, Daniel. Absolutely. I think Penn State has to feel great going into the locker room. They dominate statistically, but it really didn't feel like that up until that last drive they put together and reinforces their commanding 8-point lead. I said at the beginning of the broadcast that first to 20 should win. I don't think that's going to hold true at all. I think both teams will surpass 20.
You've seen enough out of the Michigan offense to think they're going to be able to score again in this one.
I'd be stunned if they don't. With how quickly Penn State's offense gets the ball down the field, I think Michigan will have at least 5 more possessions in the game. With the way they've played, I expect at least 7 more points.
At least 7 more points, you say. That would not be enough to win the game. Worth noting as it's an 8-point game, partially because of a Quinn Nordine missed extra point on Michigan's first touchdown of the game. That still looms large. It may be looming large until the very end of this ball game. So a quick first half recap before we fade you out to enjoy the Penn State halftime show here on Whiteout Night. Michigan being outgained by the Nittany Lions 302 to 141. 143 of those on the ground for Penn State, including 109 from Heisman candidate Saquon Barkley, was punched in 2 of the 3 Penn State touchdowns. It was Trace McSorley for the other one. Meanwhile, Michigan, their 2 touchdowns coming on Karan Higdon run and a Ty Isaac run. Higdon's on a pitch on 4th and 1. It was Isaac going right up the middle for a 5-yard touchdown run to get things a little bit closer back when it was 14-13.
And worth noting, that preserved Michigan's perfect 4th down conversion rate this season.
So Michigan 1 for 1 in this ballgame. As you mentioned, still perfect on the season. But as you mentioned, still trailing here by a score of 21-13. That'll do it here for the first half as the halftime show is about to start here at Penn State. I'll let you enjoy the sounds of Whiteout Night. I've been Austin Falco for Daniel Thompson. You've been listening to the first half action here on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. In the second half, you'll hear the dulcet tones of Jeremy Parks and Will Yang after just a bit of a break.
The final Jeopardy category is Penn State by the numbers. Here's the clue. Penn State football won the national championship in 1982 and 1986. This is the total number of points scored by Penn State in those two championship games. Good luck. Mike the mailman, did you come up with the correct number? I'm sorry, that is the price of a stand. What did you wager? All of it. So that takes you down to 0. Over to the coach. Coach Franklin, what's your answer? I'm sorry, Coach, but that's the capacity of the greatest stadium in the country. What did you wager? All of it. So you too are down to 0. Now to our returning champion. All right, Lion, you played a heck of a game so far. What is your final answer? Of course, it's 41. And what did you win? 26,000, taking you up to $52,000. Congratulations, Lion. You are still our Jeopardy champion. That's all for today, folks. Please join us next time.
BBTN, a production of the Penn State Blue Band.
To me, the name Belisario is synonymous with greatness. The name Donald P. Belisario on the College of Communications is going to transform the college forever. It's going to allow us to open our doors to students who wouldn't have had the opportunity otherwise. The college will have the faculty and facilities it needs to transform lives, to help students go out into the world and do truly great things because of the legacy of Don Belisario.
Don Belisario's gift takes a very fine college to another level. This is an opportunity now to build upon what he has done and to take a truly great college and make it the finest in the nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention now to the South Zone. Tonight we are joined by Donald P. Belisario and his wife Vivian. As a Penn State alumnus, Marine Corps veteran, and Hollywood legend, he's created the TV shows Magnum P.I., Quantum Leap, JAG, and NCIS. Earlier this year, the Belisarios made one of the largest single gifts in Penn State history, $30 million for scholarships and program support in the renamed Donald P. Belisario College of Communications. Joining the Belisarios on the field tonight, our president of Penn State, Eric Bear, and his wife Farley, Dean Marie Harden of the Belisario College, and Director of Athletics Cindy Barber. Presenting down to the football sign by members of this Nittany Lion team for students in the Belisario College. And we thank them, Don and Ben. Thank you for all you've done for Penn State. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to the Belisarios. Time for those first half highlights presented by Xfinity. And those are tonight's first half highlights brought to you by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV. Get live stats and scores right on your TV while you watch Penn State football. Learn more at xfinity.com/X1. Connecting alumni to the university and to each other. The Penn State Alumni Association is powered by pride. On the field before you tonight is our Alumni Council, led by Alumni Association President Steve Wagner. The Alumni Council is the Alumni Association's governing body. These volunteers represent Penn Staters across the world. They inspire pride and support student opportunities and serve Penn Staters like you. We are Penn State. Join us at alumni.psu.edu. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our Alumni Council. Penn State Athletics would like to welcome all of our group ticket buyers into Beaver Stadium tonight. Tonight's group of the game is the Penn State Business Receiver.
Welcome back inside a packed whiteout at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania. We are just moments away from the kickoff in the second half. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football, brought to you in part by Underground Printing. I'm Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang. About 5 minutes until things get underway in what has turned out to be a game much closer than many thought after the opening few drives. Will, Penn State came out to an early 14-0 lead on a couple of huge plays from their Heisman candidate Saquon Barkley. Subsequently, Michigan shut down the Barkley attack and forced Penn State to the air, in which they were successful on a number of jump balls towards the end of the first half. Meanwhile, Michigan tallied 2 scores of their own, missing an extra point on one, leaving the halftime score at 21-13. Will, what are your keys to the second half for the Wolverines to try and continue shutting down Barkley while adjusting off their man-to-man coverage in those jump ball situations?
Yeah, you mentioned it, Jeremy. You hit it right on the spot. Saquon Barkley is probably the best player in the country right now, and he's the key to this game. We saw early how explosive he is. He is certainly a Heisman candidate. Right now, I think he's my favorite to win the Heisman, and he's also a guy who's going to be making plays on Sunday. And we saw that early on. I think it was one of the first plays of the game. Barkley broke off a big run. That just shows his explosive athleticism. He can beat all 11 guys on Michigan's defense. But Michigan did a good job of adjusting. They made him their priority, and they did a good job of winning the line of scrimmage and just beating up Barkley and stopping him on the run, and also eliminating him in the passing game by hitting him at the line of scrimmage. And that worked. Barkley had a much quieter game after his early explosion. But the Penn State offense has done a great job of adjusting too. The role players have stepped up, and they're saying, hey, if Don Brown, their defensive coordinator, is going to stop Barkley, our other guys can make plays too. And that's what we saw with Trace McSorley, the quarterback, broke off a lot of big runs when Michigan's defense was locked in on
Barkley, and also he made throws with his arm. And that's what's going to happen in this game. Michigan's defense is focused in on Barkley. They're going to leave one-on-one matchups on the perimeter, and McSorley has not been afraid to test them, and so far Penn State's receivers have been winning those one-on-one battles on the outside.
Well, Penn State is known colloquially as linebacker U. What have you seen out of the Penn State linebacking core, in which, you know, being so vaunted coming into this game behind the backs of some of their stars in the form of Jason Kabinda, Manny Bowe, and Koa Farmer, how has Michigan attacked Penn State's defense, an offense that really looked very impotent in the last couple of weeks, now moving down the field, able to put up 2 touchdowns in the first half?
Yeah, well, early in the game, Jason Kabinda, their middle linebacker, he was a true middle linebacker. He leads the team with 40 tackles, and I'd say Penn State's entire front seven did a great job starting the game, getting after O'Korn and winning that line of scrimmage. But Michigan had some adjustments of their own. They got O'Korn out in a bootleg situation that just bought him the extra second where he had a clear shot to look downfield, and he also made some plays with his legs. So that's something that I think Michigan's offense will continue to look for, is to give O'Korn the extra second and get him out of the pocket. And he's been able to make throws when he was flushed out, and that just gives him a little extra time against Penn State's defense. But Penn State's defense, for them, the recipe is the same. They have to continue to get after the quarterback and win that line of scrimmage, and that's something they've been doing. Michigan broke off a few big runs, but overall I was very impressed by Penn State's front seven. They're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to force John O'Korn to make plays with his arm.
Just a quick recap of the first half for you. Total yards well in favor of Penn State, mostly off the back of their 2 very early long drives. 302 yards for the Nittany Lions. Michigan had not allowed a team to gain over 300 yards all season long. Meanwhile, the Wolverines at 141 in the first half. Michigan's quarterback, John O'Korn, who had struggled in the recent weeks against both Michigan State and Indiana, went 7 for 9 in the first half. As you said, Will, did a good job of rolling out and making throws when he needed to. 7 for 9 for 63 yards in the first half. Meanwhile, the running game officially being anchored by Karan Higdon, if you didn't know that already. What started off as a 3-back depth for Michigan, now all the Higdon show, 12 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. On the other side of the ball, Penn State's vaunted Saquon Barkley, 11 carries for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. But again, the key line on that stat is that Barkley broke free for a 69-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage, and now, or second play from scrimmage, I should say, and Michigan shutting him down to just 50 yards after that throughout the game tonight.
Yeah, and Michigan's going to open up the second half with the ball, and I think it's important for them to stay balanced. They started a little bit run heavy earlier in the game, and I think that was a good idea, sort of test that line of scrimmage, see if they can win that battle up front. But I think that the Penn State was ready for it to start the game, and it forced Michigan into 3rd and long situations where O'Korn wasn't ready. But I think after playing 30 minutes of football, O'Korn has his feet wet. I think the offense can start to open up a little bit more and take shots downfield. But Michigan has to stay balanced. They have to stay true to the run, force Penn State's players to step up in the box. Marcus Allen, their safety, is one of their best players, one of the best defenders in the country, and he's really good at stopping the run. But if Michigan can catch them in play actions, catch their defensive backs off guard, Michigan can make some chunk plays in the passing game.
The teams are back out on the field. Michigan's kicking team, or receiving team, I should say, ready to get underway. Penn State won the toss and received in the first half, so Michigan will get the ball first. Again, for those of you just tuning in, you're listening to coverage of Michigan football on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, brought to you in part by Underground Printing, Jeremy Parks, alongside Will Yang. As we set for the kickoff, Penn State 21, Michigan 13, in what is sure to prove a barn burner down to the finish. The ball is set on the tee for the place kicker, Tyler Davis. Back deep to return for the Wolverines. His key, Koa Crawford. The kick is up and we are underway. It's handled by Brad Hawkins, who bobbles it in the end zone and then quickly takes a knee. Michigan will start their first offensive drive of the second half from their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, another thing I should mention, this is a whiteout game in Penn State. Happy Valley, one of the loudest stadiums to play in, the second largest stadium in the country right now. And Penn State, that will give them defensive advantage having that 12th man. But this is definitely an iconic sight to see here in Happy Valley.
We will see how the defensive adjustments at the half take shape for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And we'll see how Michigan decides to go after it. They will start with John O'Korn under center in the I. Karan Higdon, the tailback, Khalid Hillen at fullback. O'Korn takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Higdon and rolls out to his right. A quick throw out of the hands of Khalid Hill, bouncing harmlessly incomplete.
I really like that play call by Michigan. That's the spider ZY banana, get the fullback out on the flat. That's something that that's sort of Harbaugh's bread and butter play, and it's an easy play to get the offense rolling. And good throw by O'Korn. Hill just has to come down with that, and now it's 2nd and 10.
Now 2nd and 10. The Penn State crowd here starting to rile up again. The booth was shaking at points in the first half. On 2nd and 10, O'Korn under center, Higdon his lone back. 2 receivers out to the left, drops back looking to throw again. Has time, collapsing pocket, moves, gaining towards the first down marker. The ball came loose after he was down. I believe the referees are going to mark him down just over the 30-yard line. The ball came out after he hit the ground.
Yeah, smart play by O'Korn there, leaving the pocket. He brings a lot more athleticism to the game than Wilton Spade, who started the year off at quarterback. And he used his legs to get some extra yards, but he has to take care of the football. Michigan needs to win the turnover battle if they want a chance to win on the road here at Penn State. Good, fortunate for Michigan that they recovered that.
A gain of 6 leaves it at 3rd and 4. Ball on the 30-yard line. O'Korn back in the gun. Henry Poggi to his right. Ron Higdon in motion to the left. Looking to throw, stepping up again in a collapsing pocket, moving towards the first down marker and gets past for a first down. Again, time and again, John O'Korn moving through a collapsing pocket for some open yardage, and another Michigan first down, a gain of 5 for the speedy quarterback.
And yeah, you mentioned it, Jeremy, that speed of John O'Korn, has deceptive athleticism, and he brings another dimension to the game at the quarterback position. Penn State's starting to realize that they must respect O'Korn's legs, and he has showed some great individual effort to fight for that first down and move the sticks.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Ty Isaac now in the backfield, 2 receivers out to the left. O'Korn looks to throw quickly, tries to get it out to Grant Perry in the flat, in and out of his hands. Quickly pursuing in coverage would have been the cornerback Grant Haley. And again, Michigan faces 2nd and 10 after an incomplete on 1st.
Yeah, you got to execute that. I thought that was another good play call by Jim Harbaugh, is opening up the passing game, quick passes, letting John O'Korn find his rhythm in the second half, and spreading Penn State's defense out horizontally. But you have to execute. Now it's 2nd and 10 again. Michigan
yet to show an actual run play this half. Ty Isaac still in the backfield. 2 receivers out to the left. And it's a handoff to Eddie McDoom, who came around in motion. He breaks free and towards the first down marker. It'll be a gain of 8 out to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, and that's sort of been McDoom's role on this offense in his 2nd year. He's sort of that jet sweep guy. He has a lot of speed, and they like to utilize that. I think that they should be getting him the ball more, and it's another way for Michigan to spread out Penn State's defense horizontally. Big 3rd and short here coming up from
3rd and 2. Bunch formation with the receivers left and right. Ty Isaac, the tailback. O'Korn takes a moment to slow things down. Now he takes the snap with the pitch to Isaac. He's got room out to the right. If he can get a tackle, he can. He breaks free and across midfield. It'll be a gain of about 7. And another first down for Michigan silences the Penn State crowd here.
Yeah, good play call there. It looks like Penn State's alignment was pretty heavy in the center, and they exploited that by going to the outside. Marcus Allen had a chance to make a play on that. He was the one who was in charge of setting the edge, but Isaac showed a little niftiness in space and got just enough to get that first down. And yeah, Jeremy mentioned it, the crowd is getting a little quieter now, and that's going to play a big role in this Michigan drive.
12:23 and ticking here in the 3rd quarter. Michigan with a first down just beyond midfield at the Penn State 49. I formation for the Wolverines. Now coming in motion is Donovan Peoples-Jones. O'Korn drops back, fakes the handoff, goes for the bubble screen to Peoples-Jones, who bobbles it and is unable to make the catch. Another drop by a complete pass on first down, and again, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that's the 3rd incompletion on a first down, and all 3 of those passes were short passes. You have to execute here in a game like this. You have to play perfect. You're the underdog in a tough, extremely tough road environment. You have to convert those. It looks like Peoples-Jones had some space on that, and you're bringing your offense into another 2nd and down position.
Kekoa Crawford out wide to the left, Grant Perry in the slot. Isaac the tailback on 2nd and 10. O'Korn again with play action, dropping back, has time, and again tries to elude the pocket. This time he's going to be wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. Tackle made on the play. It's either Koa Farmer or Brandon Smith coming out of the backfield. And now that'll leave Michigan with a 3rd and long.
Yeah, good discipline by Penn State's front 7 there. After John O'Corn burned them twice with quarterback runs in passing situations, they were ready for it, and they got him down, and now it's a 3rd and 15, a tough position for Michigan to be in.
It was Ryan Buckles on the snap, and now the Wolverines on 3rd and long with no man in the backfield, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. O'Corn takes the snap, trying to find the cross route over the middle, has plenty of room with Peoples-Jones. He's got a long way to go for the first down, though, and he will be brought down shy of the Penn State 45-yard line. That'll leave Michigan with a 4th and 6.
Yeah, that was John O'Corn's only option, really. He had 0 running backs there to block for him. Penn State brought a blitz. He had to get the ball out quickly. Good defensive play by Penn State. Keep the receiver in front of him, force a 4th down. Get the ball back to your explosive offense.
Michigan moved the ball decently on that drive, but it sputters out and forces a punt. It'll be Brad Robbins trying to pin the Nittany Lions deep in their own field. DeAndre Tompkins, the return man back for the Nittany Lions. The punt is up as Tompkins, leaning underneath it, will let it bounce, and it takes a Penn State bounce just past the 20-yard line where it's downed. We'll see where they spot it. It looks as though they will go right at the 20, and that is where Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, and the Penn State offense will have their first opportunity of the second half, leading by 8. 10:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang. Will, what did you see that worked well for the Wolverines on the offensive drive before it sputtered just past midfield?
Well, I thought Michigan had showed a little bit of creativity, which was good in their play calling, spreading Penn State out, not just being one-dimensional, running it up the middle like they did in their first 2 drives to start out this game. They were spreading Penn State out spreading Penn State out horizontally, making them stay honest, and as a result, they were able to get Penn State's defenders just out of position for them to move the ball, but they had to execute. That drive had 3 first down incompletions on quick throws that were very catchable. Michigan has to play a lot cleaner, and I think that's something that is a result of Michigan's inexperience. They're the youngest team in college football, and that experience is going to show. They had a season-high penalties last week against Indiana, and that was one reason the Hoosiers stayed in the game last weekend. If Michigan wants to stay in this game, they have to be clean. They have to play clean, sound, fundamental football, and they have to win the turnover battle. They're winning it right now. They have 1 interception and 0 turnovers themselves. But they have to play good fundamental football for them to stay in this game and have a chance to win.
And Michigan produced 6 points on that 1 turnover, an interception back in the first half that was collected by David Long, resulted in a Wolverines touchdown on a 1-yard pitch to Karan Higdon. Quinn Nordine, the former Penn State commit, was heckled on the point after try and missed. And that is why the Wolverines are down 8 instead of 7, despite 2 touchdowns for Michigan and 3 for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, Quinn Nordine is an interesting story. He was the recruit who was committed to Penn State. Jim Harbaugh slept over at his house and flipped him to come to Michigan. And when Nordine was lining out to hit the extra point, the boos were raining down loudly on him, and I think that's what caused him to miss it. It wasn't blocked, it was just a miss, a pure miss, and I think that the crowd and the backstory and the history of Nordine's recruitment process is going to play a factor in this game, and it's just 1 point, but 1 point in a game like this can mean the entire game. It's a game of inches, especially in a game of this high magnitude for both teams.
It might be the first time we've ever seen a kicker be booed for recruitment reasons. Definitely an interesting marker to watch.
Yeah, and that kicking game also plays a role for Penn State because they had the ball driving at Michigan's 30-yard line, and they had to go for it on 4th down, and they turned it over on downs. If they had won that Quinn Nordine recruiting battle, they would have had an easy field goal for Nordine. That's 3 points on the table that they left off. So you usually don't think of kickers in recruiting, but right now, Quinn Nordine has been playing a big factor for both teams in this game.
Both teams break the huddle, ready for Penn State's first offensive drive of the second half. We will see how Michigan does containing Saquon Barkley here. It was only the second play of scrimmage in the first half on which he broke free for a 69-yard dash and the first touchdown of the night. Penn State will start with McSorley in the gun and Barkley to his right. The first play, a handoff to Barkley. He's immediately bottled up, breaks free, and tries to get outside to the right now, where he will be wrapped up and brought down. Good open field tackle by the Michigan linebacker Devin Bush, someone who has not had his name called very often tonight, with a nice play and limits Barkley to a gain of 1.
Yeah, that was a great individual effort by Devin Bush. He leads the team in tackles with 50 coming into this year, and he's a middle linebacker, but he has the speed of a safety, and he ran stride for stride with Barkley to make the stop.
Barkley to McSorley's left again this time. The spread offense trying to go no huddle. McSorley drops back, trying to target his receiver. He's got it out to Deshaun Hamilton, who has space, crosses the 40 and the 45, tackled finally close to midfield. A big gain on second down for the Nittany Lions through the air. And again, Michigan being burned off the arm of McSorley. First down, and the ball will be spotted at the 48-yard line of Penn State.
Yeah, that play, Saquon Barkley stayed in to protect against the blitz, and Penn State picked it up perfectly. McSorley had a clean pocket to throw from, and Tyree Cannell just got beat on that quick slant.
26 yards on the play. Now McSorley alone in the gun, 3 receivers to his left. Now Barkley coming back in motion to his right. He's going to hand off, fake the handoff, and now McSorley's got room to run. He's going to have a first down across the Michigan 40 and out of bounds at the 39-yard line. It was a 50-50 play for the Michigan defenders on who they would go to. McSorley kept it and had enough speed to gain 11 on first down.
Yeah, and that's a play where you're seeing how much of an impact Barkley's having on this game, even when he doesn't have the ball. Mike McCray was the outside linebacker, and he was supposed to set the edge on that play, and he had to respect Barkley, he had to commit to him, and McSorley had a wide open running lane.
Again, the up-tempo trying to throw Michigan off pace. McSorley looks over to the sideline for the read. It's 1st and 10. Takes the snap. It's low, handles, drops back, has a wide open receiver again out in the flat, who trips. It's Barkley as he crosses close to a first down. He's actually going to be short. He had plenty of green in front of him, but tripped over his own laces as he turned to go upfield, and that will limit a potentially dangerous play to a gain of 9, but Penn State continuing to cruise well into Michigan territory.
Yeah, that should have been 6 for Penn State. Barkley had a wide open field in front of him, and Tompkins was doing a great job sealing the edge against Cannell, blocking out there on the perimeter. Barkley just hit the turf monster and unfortunately didn't even get the first down, but that should have been a touchdown for the Nittany Lions.
Michigan trying to lock down here as they are being pushed up against the wall. McSorley again in the gun. Barkley stepping over to his left. McSorley drops back, looking to throw, has plenty of time, again escaping the pocket in the arms of Chase Winovich, fakes the throw and will simply scamper forward for 2 yards and a first down. Penn State fans wanted a late hit out of bounds on Tyree Cannell. They will not get it. It's a first down by maybe a yard, depending on the spot, as the chains are now beginning to move forward. 1st and 10 for Penn State on the Michigan 29.
Yeah, McSorley is an elusive runner, and he makes the offensive line has been having a hard time keeping up with Michigan's defensive front, but McSorley is able to make up for it on his legs, with his legs there to pick up that first down.
McSorley surveying his option, has Juwan Johnson out wide to the right, has DeAndre Tompkins out wide to the left. Instead, they're going to go with a pitch play on first down. Barkley has absolutely nowhere to go, tries to run around. He's wrapped up by a host of Michigan defenders behind the line for a loss of 3.
That was a great team effort by the Michigan Wolverine defense. Barkley's the type of player that will beat any defender one-on-one. Great job by Michigan's defenders for staying in their lane and forcing Barkley into the other defenders. Great gang tackle there. And Barkley's going to go to the sideline to get a blow.
Penn State at the outer reaches of field goal range for Tyler Davis. As you said, stepping into the game for the Nittany Lions, or stepping out, I should say, is Saquon Barkley. Miles Sanders, the running back. McSorley drops back. He's under pressure, escapes the waiting arms of the Wolverine defenders, and now gets a pass off inbounds to DeAndre Tompkins, or should I say Deshaun Hamilton. They will be short of the first down, but a nice escape by McSorley and a strong throw towards the out-of-bounds line. Tackle made by Kalik Hudson.
McSorley made that play with his underrated athleticism. John Brown dialed up the perfect blitz. Kalik Hudson, coming from his Viper spot, a linebacker hybrid, had a free shot at McSorley, and he just went for an arm tackle, and McSorley was able to break it, extend the play, and hit the receiver to move Penn State into a 3rd and manageable position here.
Big 3rd down and 3. Miles Sanders still in the game. Penn State showing 2 receivers to the right and left. Sanders is to the left of McSorley. He takes the snap, has plenty of time in the pocket, and finds again Deshaun Hamilton, on the open slant route right away for a first down to the 15, make it the 14-yard line into the red zone, and now threatening to expand on this 8-point lead with 5:44 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, again, this is the second time I've seen this drive. Penn State did a perfect job of picking up the blitz. McSorley had a clean pocket to throw from, and that quick slant is just too hard to defend if you don't have players flying in McSorley's face. Sean Hamilton won that battle there. Now Penn State's knocking on the doorstep in the red zone.
Saquon Barkley back in the game. He motions over to McSorley's left. The handoff faked. Again, McSorley has some room, pushing across the 5-yard line, breaks again to the outside. He's got Josh Metellus to beat into the corner. He reaches for it, awaiting the signal. Touchdown, Penn State.
Wow, McSorley, great play there, beating Michigan with his legs. In the first half, we saw him complete a lot of deep throws, throwing with his arm, but this drive has been all Trace McSorley, using his athleticism in space, breaking tackles, and putting Michigan's defenders on skates. And I love the effort at the end, diving for the pylon, getting 6 for his Nittany Lions.
A 13-yard touchdown scant for McSorley, and now in for the extra point is Tyler Davis to put Penn State up by 15 if he can make it. The snap, the hold, the kick is up, and right through. The ball game opens up a little bit more here with 5:13 remaining in the third quarter. Penn State takes the lead by a score of 28-13 over the Michigan Wolverines. And now, Will, Michigan's starting to find themselves perhaps a little bit pressed for time already. This game is moving quickly. 5:13 remaining in the third quarter, and Penn State continuing to beat them on the ground and staying in bounds.
Yeah, it's still a 2-possession game, though. Michigan's down 15. That's 2 touchdowns with 1 2-point conversion, and Michigan can still get back in this game. There is still a lot of time left. They need to get a stop, though, on defense, and they need to put some points on the board. I know that's pretty obvious, but Michigan, they're still in this game, and so far it's been a chess match defensively. We saw Michigan get beat on perimeter throws, on big throws, and they did a good job of shutting that down in the second half, but they didn't account for Trace McSorley's ability to run the ball himself. They did a good job, again, of bottling up Saquon Barkley, but there's another player in that backfield that can run, and that's Trace McSorley, and he showed that pretty extensively on that drive. So I think that Michigan will come out with some adjustments, and so far they have to commit a spy to Saquon Barkley, and that's been working, but now they have to commit another spy to Trace McSorley. So it'll be interesting to see how Don Brown will adjust next time Michigan's defense comes down on the field.
A note that we want to share from our man down on the sidelines, Ruck Fisher. Looks as though Michigan is having their linebacker Chase Winovich being looked at by the medical staff. We'll keep you up to date on that. Did not see Winovich much on the last drive.
Yeah, it looked like he was limping off the field after the touchdown play, so we'll keep you updated on that. And hopefully it's not anything serious for the senior defensive end for Michigan.
And now Michigan down by 15 in one of the most intimidating atmospheres they can be in as a young, as you said, the youngest football team in Division I football. Has to find something within themselves here to push back and get back in this football game within a score.
Yeah, and Penn State's defense also got burned on a few quarterback runs on Michigan's opening drive. So I expect Penn State linebackers to hover a little more closely and have an extra eye on John O'Korn and limit his runs. But what that means is that if they're going to take those runs away, John O'Korn's going to have to make plays with his arms. And I think that's sort of been the theme all night. Is Penn State knows that he struggled. He had less than 60 passing yards last week against Indiana. Penn State knows this. They're going to test him. They're going to say, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us with your arm. And I think that's something that John O'Korn has to step up and do. He had a few good throws in the first half, but he's got to make more if the Michigan Wolverines want a chance to win this game.
And now the Michigan return team back on the field. Penn State ready to tee it up. Ambry Thomas, the return man, back for the Wolverines, along Brad Hawkins. And kicking it off for the Nittany Lions, Tyler Davis. Again, just over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter as Davis puts a boot through it up into the night sky of mid-Pennsylvania. It's handled by Brad Hawkins. On the left-hand side, he breaks over to the right, has a little bit of a hole, pushing forward towards the 20, and did a good job to get that far. That is where Michigan will begin their second offensive drive of the half. They move the ball well beyond midfield on their first try, and then we're forced to punt in a short field situation.
Good job there by Penn State's coverage team, is kicking it not in the end zone, forcing Michigan to return it, but also forcing Brad Hawkins to run sideline to sideline. And now Michigan gets it up to 20 instead of the 25 for a touchback, and that'll play a big difference in this game.
Michigan's going to start with O'Korn under center, Higdon the lone tailback, Gentry the tight end, alongside Grant Perry. Sean McCune also in. Heavy set as O'Korn looks to throw. Has it out to Donovan Peoples-Jones at the first down marker. Unable to wrap him up is Penn State as he breaks free for an extra 5 yards beyond the 35-yard line down to the 36. A good effort from Donovan Peoples-Jones, the young wide receiver out of Detroit Cass Tech High School, has Michigan with a first down.
Really good route by Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's one of the more athletic players, or he might be the most athletic player on this team. But something that was a question mark was his ability to run routes. But good, clean route to get in front of Christian Campbell, the cornerback, and O'Korn hit him.
O'Korn, empty backfield, dropping back out of the gun, has nowhere to go, scrambling around, looking for somebody, being pursued by Ryan Buchholz, and finally throws it away towards the sideline. Almost a catchable ball for Michigan at the first down marker, but no play to be made. Good job by O'Korn to escape. He was looking for Grant Perry down the right.
Yeah, exactly what I said before this drive. Penn State is limiting John O'Korn's ability to run. They're blitzing him, but they're not being aggressive and not giving up running lanes for O'Korn. So O'Korn had nowhere to run. He had to make a play with his arm, and he did a good job of evading the pressure, but he had to get the ball out quick because it was coming in hot.
2nd and 10. Chase Winovich headed to the locker room for the Wolverines. Not good news on the defense. And now it's on the arms of the offense to get them back in the game. O'Korn has Ty Isaac to his right. Lone receiver Nate Shanley. It'll be a handoff to Isaac as he bursts forward for 5 yards, making it a much more manageable third down. A note that we want to share with you as well, a new stadium attendance record just announced here at Beaver Stadium. It is the second largest stadium in the country outside of the Big House in Ann Arbor. 110,823, surpassing the previous record set in a game here against Nebraska in 2002.
Big third down here. Penn State's trying to get off the field and give their offense a chance to extend this lead.
O'Korn's in the gun. He's got Isaac to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Drops back, looking to throw. Cannot find anybody. Now the pursuit, and he's going to go down in the backfield. Big loss on the play. Wrapped up by the vaunted Central defender, Jason Kabinda.
Yeah, Jason Kabinda is the heart and soul of that defense, but that was a great defensive play by all 11 players on Penn State. They brought the blitz, and Michigan actually did a good job of picking it up, but there's no one open. It was a coverage sack. O'Korn had plenty of time in the pocket, had nowhere to go. Penn State's secondary was blanketing the receivers, and the sack was pretty much inevitable at that point.
Michigan again forced to punt. Brad Robbins punting to DeAndre Tompkins. Good hang time. The punt is deep, waving for fair catch just shy of the 30-yard line. And it'll be called at the 31. That's where Penn State will get underway after scoring a touchdown in their last drive on a 13-yard dash from Trace McSorley. Again, you're listening to Michigan football coverage on WCBN Sports, the Michigan student voice of athletics. Jeremy Parks alongside Will Yang. And now the defense, after giving up a touchdown, we saw what happened in the first half. They gave up 2 touchdowns in the first 2 Penn State drives and then buckled down. Cannot afford to give one up again. Michigan down 15. Where do you look, Will?
Yeah, so this is a crucial drive in the game. Penn State can open up this game by scoring here. It's still a 2-possession game. There's still a lot of time left. Michigan is still very much in this game, but Penn State can score a touchdown here that really opens things up and could open the doors to a blowout. But I think Michigan's defense will buckle down. I think they have it in them. They have a lot of depth on their defensive front, and that's something that will be key. In the first half, we saw a lot of young guys shuffling in. We saw Quiddy Pay, Aubrey Solomon, a little bit of Michael Blunfor, a lot of young guys on the defensive line. And this is intentional. It's to give Michigan's star players enough juice at the end of the game to execute, and we'll see that here, that depth will play a factor in this game. And I think that Michigan, after that drive, will make adjustments. Like I said, at the end of Penn State's touchdown drive, they'll make adjustments to keep an eye on Trace McSorley. And McSorley is a tremendous athlete. He made Michigan's defenders miss one-on-one. and that's something that Don Brown will have to scheme for to take into account both Barkley and Trace McSorley running out of the backfield.
Clasped in a TV timeout here in Happy Valley. Again, the score, Penn State 28, Michigan 13. I know I quickly mentioned it during the last Michigan offensive drive. However, Chase Winovich is headed to the locker room for Michigan. We will await a further update there for you. Credit to our man on the sidelines, Ruck Fisher, with the call.
Yeah, and Chase Winovich is a big loss. He's one of Michigan's best defenders, one of their senior leaders, and also, most importantly, their best pass rusher. He is first on the team with 5.5 sacks on the year, and especially in a game where they're going to try to put pressure on the quarterback. Losing Chase Winovich will be a huge blow to the Michigan defense.
The momentum was all Penn State in the first half until the Wolverines intercepted Trace McSorley as they were threatening to score their third unanswered touchdown. And now, in a similar situation, the Wolverines need to come up with a big play here to try and put a little bit back behind their own cause. A jovial atmosphere, to say the least, here amongst the Penn State faithful. They've waited a long time for this moment against the Wolverines. Jim Harbaugh, in his young career at U of M, 2-0 against Penn State. Again, James Franklin took this program to an 11-3 record last season overall. Currently undefeated at 6-0 in the talk for national championship contention with many. The Wolverines trying to put up as much of a fight as they can. We are ready to get underway with the Penn State Nittany Lions 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. And again, Trace McSorley, the quarterback, at the helm. Saquon Barkley to his right, two receivers to the right, and again they are going to switch to a direct handoff to Barkley. He's going to have room on the left-hand side, pushes forward for a gain of 3 on first down, make it 4. That'll leave 2nd and 6.
Yeah, that's an interesting little wrinkle I've honestly never seen before, is having the running back take the direct snap and run the read option with the quarterback as the running back. And it's something that I think Penn State uses pretty creatively, and it's something that works because of the athleticism of Trace McSorley.
Offensive coordinator Joe Moorhead has given Don Brown's defense fits so far today. 2nd and 6, 2:27 and ticking in the third quarter. McSorley looking to throw on 2nd down, tries to get the quick pass out, unable to do so as it flies high and over the head of his intended receiver. Believe it was Saquon Barkley out on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and that was an intentional play call based on what they saw from Michigan's defense. Mike McCray is Michigan's linebacker that really struggles defending in space, and they tried to get him isolated on Saquon Barkley, and if McSorley puts that a little lower, it gives his running back a chance. That could be dangerous, but it's 3rd down now. 3
receivers to the right, Gesicki, the tight end. 1 receiver to the left. Michigan could do well with a 3 and out here on 3rd and 6. Showing pressure, they bring the house. McSorley brought down in the backfield by the Michigan defense. Credit the sack to Kwity Paye. You mentioned it. Haven't seen him much this season on the defense for the Wolverines. Now thrusted into the spotlight with the injury to Chase Winovich, the freshman out of Providence, Rhode Island. Just a 3-star, coming up with a 5-star play for the Maize and Blue as it's now 4th and 12.
Yeah, this kid's a true freshman from Rhode Island. You don't hear a lot about college football recruits coming from the state of Rhode Island. Only a 3-star player because I think he didn't have a lot of competition in high school. But what a play by Kwity Paye.
The punt is up. Donovan Peoples-Jones standing at the 30-yard line. He lets it bounce. It'll go just inside the 30 and roll out of bounds at the Michigan 26-yard line. And now after a big 3 and out, Michigan's offense trying to put some points on the board.
Yeah, Peoples-Jones has to get up there and man up and fair catch that ball, because once it hits the ground, anything can happen. It could take an awkward bounce in Penn State's favor or even hit off of his leg. We've seen this happen a few times earlier in the season. Someone has to have a talk with the young freshman from Detroit. Fair catch the ball. It's a lot safer if you do so.
No TV timeout, thankfully, and Michigan will go right into their offensive set. They're going to start here with no man in the backfield. Now they're going to switch the set. It looks like they'll go back to the I with Khalid Hill, the fullback, offset I. Chris Evans, the tailback. Sean McCune in motion, and it's a pitch out to Evans. Pushes forward, back to the line of scrimmage, maybe half a yard on first down.
Yeah, great play there by Koa Farmer. He's a guy who played safety, and they converted him to linebacker, so he's more of a hybrid type. And Michigan had the numbers out there on the edge, but he used his quickness to get past the lead blocker, Khalid Hill, get around him and make that tackle there to stop Chris Evans for a gain of no yards.
O'Korn is back under center. Grant Perry split out wide to the right this time. He now comes in motion back towards the slot. O'Korn again looking to throw. Not a lot of running for Michigan here. Running for O'Korn, though, as he escapes the pocket and gets it out to Khalid Hill, who again drops the pass near the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Incomplete, leaves a 3rd and long. Call it 3rd and 9.
Yeah, I know Khalid Hill's a fullback, but he's got to make that catch, and Jim Harbaugh expects his fullbacks to make plays in the passing game. But that was a great play by Penn State. They brought Marcus Allen on a safety blitz, and Chris Evans, the running back, stayed in to pick up the blitz, and tried to cut block him, but Allen jumped over Evans, and he was bringing heat to John O'Korn to make him make the hasty throw.
An obvious passing down. Michigan has tight ends bunched to the left. Perry, the slot receiver. Peoples-Jones on the right. O'Korn, obvious passing down, drops back, has time to throw. Gets it out to Sean McCune over the middle, who crosses the first down marker close to the 40-yard line. They will mark him down at the Michigan 38. Good for a first down. A big play on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, McCune's a guy who emerged as one of O'Korn's favorite targets in the Purdue game when O'Korn finally got to play this year. But the biggest thing on that play was O'Korn stood tall in the pocket, didn't panic, and was patient enough to trust the offense, and O'Korn broke open, and he was able to hit him. Good play by O'Korn to make a throw from the pocket.
Time running down in the 3rd quarter. 26 seconds remain as the clock runs. Fresh set of downs for the Wolverines. They start with a handoff to Higdon. He pushes up the middle, makes a couple extra yards after contact, gets out to the 41 or the 42, and a gain of 4 on first down.
Yeah, I like that play. Stick to your bread and butter. I think Michigan kind of got a little too cute. I know that it was important for them to spread out Penn State's defense, but I think they were getting a little too cute and staying away from the run game. So good play to end the 3rd quarter. Move the sticks ahead. 2nd and 6 when we come back after this break.
As you said, that will do it for the 3rd quarter. The score as we head to the 4th. Penn State, the number 2 team in the country, 28. Michigan, ranked 19th, 13. Down 15, moving the ball. Michigan, how crucial is it to come out of this drive with points, Will?
Yeah, you have to get points, especially Michigan's offensive drives have scored on methodical drives. They haven't really been an offense. They haven't been an offense all year, an offense that converts big plays, and that's okay as long as you're executing. It's okay to have these long methodical drives, and those are helpful because they keep Penn State's offense on the sideline. They keep your defense on the sideline. Gives them enough rest to stop Penn State's explosive offense. But if you're going to have methodical drives, you have to convert, because if they take a long time, you have fewer of them left. There's only 15 minutes left to go in this ball game, and anything can happen. It's still a 2-possession game, but you have to execute on offense. And if there's any defense and defensive coordinator I trust to stop Penn State, it's this defense and this defensive coordinator, Don Brown. But Michigan's offense has to repay their defense for how they fought all game to keep Penn State to 28 points, keep this a 2-possession game. You have to get points. Even a field goal helps Michigan because it closes that gap, but you have to get points. You can't have these long drives that stall out, and because Penn State's ahead, they don't need to explode on anything. They can play more conservative, they can eat more clock, and these 15 minutes are going to come down pretty quickly because of that.
And you have to give Michigan some credit. They have gone to the air a heck of a lot more here to start the second half than they were willing to do in the first, perhaps realizing that this game is moving relatively quickly already into the 4th quarter in almost record pace. And now it's going to fall on, again, like you said, how quickly can Michigan move the ball. And they've been willing to go to the air, but Penn State, with a fantastic combination of lockdown corners and safeties, Haley Apke, Campbell, and Allen, really doing a good job of shutting down the options for John O'Korn, who, as we already know, has trouble looking down beyond his first receiver anyways.
Yeah, and I think Penn State's also been stacking the box and forcing O'Korn to make plays, and I'd say so far that strategy has been working 50-50 for Penn State. They have taken away John O'Korn's first options, and as a result, they were able to get to him but also O'Korn did make some good throws with his arm. So I think Penn State will continue to really sell out on the run. They've been doing a good job of stopping Michigan's running game so far. I think Michigan has to stick to a balanced attack. There's still a lot of time left. You don't have to stay disciplined.
Michigan is still being outgained by the Nittany Lions 380 to 195. Penn State's offense has gotten the better of the Michigan defense. Again, not only early on, but they've continued to have a couple drives spattered in there with some long movement that has led to pay dirt. Again, one touchdown in the second half on the scamper from Trace McSorley. The only points of the second half so far. Penn State winning the third quarter battle 7-0. We are out of the TV timeout. Michigan, to set the scene for you again, has the ball on their own 42 with 2nd and 6. Down by 15. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. Nate Shanley in the game at wide receiver for the Wolverines as the only man out to the left. Almost every time tonight that has indicated a run play for the Wolverines, they come out of the eye with Poggi and Ty Isaac in the backfield. Now Shanley in motion. O'Korn drops back with the pitch over to the left-hand side. Can Ty Isaac get some room? He can, out to the edge, and he's got a first down across near midfield. A flag is down, however, in the backfield, and this one may be coming back.
Yeah, I think that could have been a legal block on there. Chop block on Ben Bredesen, the left guard. Thanks to our spotter, Austin Falco, for calling that out.
And we will get the official call. It is indeed a chop block on Ben Bredesen, and that will set Michigan back a good chunk.
Yeah, that's a huge penalty. That's a 15-yarder, and that will certainly put Michigan in a very disadvantaged situation here.
It will turn what was a first down into now 2nd and 21. The ball now sitting on the Michigan 27. Penalties so far tonight have definitely gone against the Wolverines. That'll be their 4th for 50 yards. Penn State just 1 for 10. And now Michigan on 2nd and 21 coming out of the eye. Ty Isaac in motion now goes out to the left. O'Korn drops back, again trying to throw. Finally lets one go. He gets it out to Grant Perry, who has it. He gains a first down. Michigan gets all the yards back and then some, close to the midfield line. They will call it first down and put it at the Michigan 49, a massive play. And finally, John O'Korn with a little bit of time to throw, and he gets a good throw out to Grant Perry, who doesn't drop this one.
Yeah, Michigan's pass blocking has been pretty abysmal all year, to be honest. But right there, those 5 linemen stood in tall. Penn State didn't bring a blitz, but Penn State's defensive linemen are some of the best at bringing heat on the quarterback, and Michigan's offensive line did a good job giving O'Korn time, and O'Korn put it right on the money to pick up the first down.
Fresh set of downs, Michigan in the offset eye. Kekoa Crawford in motion on the left. O'Korn fakes the handoff, dropping back, has a little bit of time, and he's going to be wrapped up from behind. The ball may have come loose, and indeed it did. O'Korn is going to try and claim he threw the ball forward. The referees are going to spot it. I believe it's going to be Penn State football, depending on the call, and indeed they do call it. The ball came out of the arm of John O'Korn, wrapped up from behind. We'll see on the replay who made the hit. I believe that it was Christian Campbell who came around on the outside and got it. There may be a review. O'Korn came out of that pile trying to say that he had thrown the ball forward. And I think the head referee here will try and say that it is a review.
Yeah, Christian Campbell came in from a corner blitz on John O'Korn's right side, and he beat the back trying to block him. That's the advantage of bringing a defensive back on a blitz, is he has a lot more agility to get by blockers. And O'Korn just didn't see him. He was talking back to throw the ball, and Campbell just hit it out of him. Good job by Penn State's defense by being aware and jumping on the football. And now Penn State has the ball in Michigan's territory after what looked like a promising drive for the Wolverines.
No review on the play. Chase Winovich, however, is back in the game for Michigan, and now we will get a timeout. And we will see what they have here. May actually be a charge timeout as opposed to a booth one. The referees conferencing, and now they want to go over and talk to Jim Harbaugh. We'll see what he's going to say here. Will, what do you think they're talking about down there?
I think Jim Harbaugh is asking him to take a look at it, but looking at the replay, it doesn't look like O'Korn went through the passing motion. It looked like from my angle that it was a clean strip.
It was ruled a fumble on the field, and now Harbaugh still conferencing. He's got 3 officials with him, including the head official.
Yeah, I don't think Harbaugh's going to win this one. It didn't look like O'Korn went through any of his throwing progressions. It looks like it's going to be Penn State ball.
It is 13:43 left in the fourth quarter, and now awaiting the call, unable to hear it. I believe it is going to continue play. And no, it will be a Michigan challenge we are now hearing over the PA. The referee mic went out in the stadium. And we will see what comes of it. Will, you said it looked like John O'Korn did not complete the passing motion. We'll see what we have in the booth. They're now showing the replay on the big screen here. And there is very little chance in my mind that they are going to overturn that call. It looked as though O'Korn had tried to bring it around, but then simply brought his arm sort of down to his side and had the ball batted away by Christian Campbell.
Yeah, he did bring it back, but it looks like Campbell hit him before he was able to bring it up next to his arm, and I think that Campbell did hit it out. I think possibly if Jim Harbaugh, John O'Korn has any argument, it's that O'Korn's arm moved forwards, but it didn't look like he moved it in his natural passing motion. So I think there's a lot of gray area here, and if there's a lot of gray area, it's very unlikely that the officials will overturn this call.
If they do, it will be a saving grace for Michigan. Again, the ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the Nittany Lions. If they do have it, they are already deep into Michigan's end of the field. The ball would be on the Michigan 46-yard line. They're up by 15. If Penn State does get the ball and they manage to score, the game starting to look almost out of reach for Michigan. And if the challenge fails, Michigan loses a valuable timeout. Looks like the head official now has his headset off. We will await the call here in just a moment. And the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a fumble. Penn State football at the Michigan 46. We truck on here in the fourth. Penn State with all the momentum going forward.
Yeah, Michigan had the momentum, but Penn State took it right back with a big play by their cornerback, Christian Campbell, the senior from Phoenix City, Alabama.
And now the turnover battle even at 1 apiece. Michigan was able to produce 6 points off of their turnover. Penn State trying to respond and increase their lead.
Looks like Jim Harbaugh still having a conversation with the refs, but it is Penn State ball, and this will be a big test for Don Brown's defense. Can they get off the field? Penn State doesn't have a kicker they trust in that middle of the field, so Michigan's defense has some room for error here, but they need to get the ball back to their offense. Still a lot of time left, 13:43 left to go. Chase Winovich is back in the game.
Called that right before they called the timeout. Now, again, conferencing. Nobody is down into their set yet. Head official is talking to Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley. I think the referees are taking a moment to get things ready. The TV timeout official will now step off of the field as he inches away, and he is back. Penn State will start this drive with Barkley to the right. They've got Saeed Blacknell out wide to the left. 3 receivers to the right, including the tight end Gesicki. McSorley's looking to throw on first down. He has a wide open receiver over the middle. It's Blacknell, able to escape a tackle and tries to run for a little bit more. Might get an extra yard out of it in the end. Close to the 40-yard line, taken down for a gain of 4 on first down.
Yeah, that was Noah Furbush, the player on Michigan who missed that tackle. And Saeed Blacknell is a big boy. He's 6'3", 217, and he showed some athleticism and strength to get out of that tackle. But Michigan's defense, good team defense, swarmed with the ball to only limit it to a 4-yard carry. 4-yard reception, excuse me.
Second down and 6. The Michigan defense again trying to come up with a big 3-and-out stop to limit Penn State from scoring here. McSorley is alone at the moment in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right, 3 to the left. He drops back and looks to throw again. He's got a deep ball, looking for a wide receiver. He's open, caught, touchdown, Nittany Lions. Saquon Barkley with his 3rd touchdown of the night. He lined up wide to the right, and he beat the Michigan coverage. And now Michigan buried deep.
Yeah, that was a touchdown right before the snap. We mentioned it earlier. Mike McCray, Michigan's linebacker, not very good in space, and he was covered against the best player in the country when it comes to being in space, and he had no chance against Saquon Barkley there running the wheel route. Also, Jordan Glasgow, Michigan's backup safety, was in the game because Tyree Cannell, the starting safety, had to come out because his helmet fell off. Penn State knew this and they exploited it. McCray was beat, and Glasgow was a step too late.
A 42-yard touchdown pass to Saquon Barkley. The point after try is good, and now Penn State up 35-13.
Yeah, and that's really a dagger because on the previous offensive drive, Michigan was making some ground, gaining some momentum, and one play, one sack by Christian Campbell swung the game 180 degrees, and Penn State went right for the jugular, seeing the mismatch of McCray, who was very bad in space, against Saquon Barkley, the Heisman frontrunner.
Not a lot that we can say at the moment in favor of the Maize and Blue. They have looked okay at moments, and in each instance have been shut down here in the second half. The time on the clock is 13:11. Michigan did lose a timeout on the challenge of the fumble call, which now leaves them with just 2 if things do come back for them and they get down into some crunch time. Penn State with all 3. Boy, oh boy. Again, a record-setting crowd here in Happy Valley. Nothing but joy here as their number 2 Nittany Lions are in the driver's seat at the moment, undefeated and looking to advance closer to a Big Ten championship game berth. Sitting currently at 3-0 in conference play. With a loss, Michigan would drop to 2-2.
Yeah, this is a really important stretch to Penn State's schedule. They have 3 hard games in a row. First one right here, Michigan, then Ohio State, then Michigan State. Right now, I'd say Penn State hasn't really faced any superior competition until this game, but right now they're really proving themselves to the college football committee. A big game against a tough Michigan defense, a ranked team coming into Happy Valley, and so far Penn State's been exceeding all expectations so far and proving that they deserve to be in the college football playoff.
Coming out of the TV timeout here in a moment, Michigan's return team is stepping out onto the field. Brad Hawkins and Ambry Thomas split left and right respectively. Tyler Davis, the place kicker, sets his tee down on the 35. Tom Petty, I won't back down, loaded up here at Beaver Stadium. As now Davis steps back, awaiting the referee's signal. Everybody's favorite man in the stadium, the TV timeout guy in the red shirt, still has not left the field, and now he finally does. As Davis steps forward, puts a boot through it, and sends it deep towards the end zone. It's handled by Hawkins on the left-hand side, fielded 1 yard in play. Blake's out to the left-hand side. He's got a little bit of space. He's finally met by Davis, the only man between him and the end zone. He was plowed over. And Michigan will have good field position off of the return, close to the 33-yard line to begin the drive.
Yeah, there's 13 minutes left. Michigan needs 3 touchdowns now. They want to win this game. I think that you have to go for some bigger plays here. Time is not your friend if you're Michigan.
Michigan in the huddle. Penn State already set in their defensive formation. Michigan comes out with Donovan Peoples-Jones out wide to the right. Grant Perry, the slot, no receivers on the left. O'Korn drops back and hands off to Higdon. He breaks out to the left-hand side, has a little bit of room. Scampers across the 33-yard line. Gain of 2.
Great play there. Great play there by the safety, Marcus Allen. He's so good in the run. They like to use him in the box. He is a safety, but he plays like a linebacker when it comes to tackling. Because of him, Penn State basically has 8 players in the box, and he was able to shed his block and stuff Higdon for only a 2-yard gain.
Call it 3. It's 2nd and 7 as O'Korn takes the snap and is looking to throw. Again, flushed out. trying to find something, floats it over, looking for Grant Perry down the sideline. He caught it, but they're going to say he's out of bounds. In coverage was Grant Haley. It was a fantastic grab by Perry, but unable to put a foot down. 3rd and 7.
Yeah, good try by Michigan's offense. They were kind of playing that scramble drill there, but Grant Haley's one of the best corners in the country. He stuck hip for hip with Grant Perry on that route, and he forced him out of bounds. Great technique by Haley. Now it's 3rd down and 7, and the Penn State faithful is rising to their feet.
And again, the booth is going to shake on 3rd and long. Michigan has to get a first down here to extend any hope of getting back into the game. O'Korn under center, back in the gun now. Calling an audible, motioning his tight end Sean McCune inside to block for him. He now takes the snap, steps back, has a little bit of time. He's hit as he throws, gets it out to Grant Perry. It's complete to midfield. First down and then some. Perry continuing to push over tacklers across the 45-yard line. And again on 3rd and long, O'Korn stays in the pocket and delivers a strike to Grant Perry.
What a gutsy throw by John O'Korn there. Pressure in his face. He stood tall, took a shot, and converted. Penn State was in his zone there on that play. Grant Perry found a little hole on it, and O'Korn hit it right on the numbers to move the chains.
Call it a gain of 24. Ball sits on the Penn State 44. O'Korn drops back on 1st down. Flushed around. He's going to be ripped down and sacked. Parker Cothran.
Yeah, Parker Cothran, the big nose tackle. He's just a space eater. Penn State only brought 4 that time. That means they stuck 7 guys back and made it really hard for any receivers to get open there. And Cothran just overwhelmed his blocker over time and ate up O'Korn there. Big sack, though, brings Michigan down to a 2nd and 20 situation.
Another Penn State sack leaves it at 2nd and 18, 11:27 in the 4th quarter. Michigan hands off to Chris Evans, who has a little bit of room out to the right-hand side, breaks a couple defenders, and gets back close to the 45. They'll mark him out at the 46.
Yeah, Chris Evans is a slippery running back. He's great at making those one-on-one tackles. Penn State did a good job, though, staying patient, staying in their lane, sticking to their assignments, and stringing out that play. I think Michigan tried to catch them off guard with a run there in a 2nd and long situation, but it brings up 3rd down and long here. But it's probably 4-down territory. Michigan has 2 plays here to get their first down.
It was a gain of 5, 3rd and 13. Nick Eubanks checking into the game for the Wolverines. Eddie McDoom also in as the slot receiver. Ty Isaac is the tailback. O'Korn under center. Penn State showing many men in the box as he drops back, looks to throw, gets it out over the middle to McDoom, doesn't have a lot of space. He's wrapped up by the linebackers. A shared tackle officially brought down by Sharif Miller.
Yeah, Sharif Miller is Penn State's best pass rusher, but on that play he dropped back in coverage. It was a really well-disguised blitz, and he made a good tackle there. Now it's 4th and 10. Penn State can bring the heat, and Sharif Miller's mouth has got to be watering now. He's going to be going up against Michigan's right side of their offensive line against Jawan Bushell-Beatty, who has been Michigan's weak link in terms of pass protection.
Officially 4th and 11. Michigan needs to get to the Penn State 39. O'Korn is under center. He drops back, fakes the handoff, stepping back. Flushed out of the pocket, and he's brought down again. The sack made by Sharif Miller and Kevin Givens, and a turnover on downs as Michigan now looking dead in the water.
Yeah, that's a killer right there. That's a big dagger from Penn State's defense. Great job of making O'Korn stay in the pocket. He tried to escape something he was very successful at in the beginning of the 2nd half, but Penn State adjusted, made the right adjustments. John O'Korn couldn't find anywhere there, and the blitz got to him. It was sort of a delayed blitz. It was picked up initially well, but again, just O'Korn couldn't find anywhere to go in that one, and Penn State got him there.
It'll be Penn State ball in Michigan territory at the 48 when we come out of the timeout. O'Korn came back to the sideline and threw his helmet down to his side, clearly frustrated. He has not received much support from the Michigan faithful, who are eager to see the 3rd-string quarterback when this season started, Brandon Peters, come into the game. We'll see what Jim Harbaugh decides to do, but now, with just 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, Michigan needs a turnover or a quick 3-and-out and a score to show any semblance of hope.
Yeah, that's exactly what Michigan needs to stay in this game. They need a 3-and-out here. 3-and-out, get the ball back in your offense's hands, 3-and-out. Only gives up about 2 minutes left on the clock. Right now, Michigan is definitely fighting an uphill battle here. Down 3 with 9:50 left to go in the half.
This one of the most lost performances we've seen from the Michigan defense under Don Brown over the last 2 seasons. Arguably the most lost they have seemed in that time.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Saquon Barkley. He's definitely a special player, once in a generation type player.
We announced it earlier. They just announced it here to the fans. A new attendance record at Beaver Stadium, 110,823. Just about 75 more fans in the house than their previous record set in 2002 against Nebraska. And they are sitting pretty at the moment, leading by 22, 35-13, with just a little under 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Don Brown there, but I'd say Penn State's offensive coordinator.
It is Joe Moorhead.
Joe Moorhead, also their quarterback coach, has been doing a good job of making adjustments. After Don Brown did a good job of eliminating Saquon Barkley, they went a lot to quarterback run with Trace McSorley, and he burned them there on another drive. And also exploiting mismatches. When they see Saquon Barkley lined up against Michigan's worst linebacker in coverage, Mike McCray, they knew to go right after it, and they knew to go after their backup safety. So it's sort of been a chess match, and I know Don Brown has a lot of talented guys. He's a great coach, but I'd say Joe Moorhead's been winning at this game.
I have to say this is a starkly different feel from when I was here 2 years ago. It was also a whiteout that day, however, a day game and the numbers not nearly as high when Michigan rolled to a victory here in Happy Valley. And now it is all Penn State. The white reigns over the night as the offense gets ready to take the field again. They'll have 1st and 10 at the Michigan 48. McSorley looks over to the sideline for his signal. He hands off, fakes the handoff, and has a wide open receiver over the middle and across the 25-yard line, officially brought down by Josh Metellus. He got it out to Brandon Polk, the backup slot receiver, the sophomore out of Ashburn, Virginia.
Yeah, Metellus is shaken up on the play, it looked like. But it looked like Metellus sort of fell asleep at the wheel there, and that was the design of that play. It was a read pass option where McFarley fakes it to the running back, and if nothing's there, he'll throw it to the receiver. It was a quick slant, and Metellus was caught off guard there. Easy pitch and catch to move it deep into Michigan territory. But right now, Metellus is being looked at by the medical staff, and let's hope that he's okay.
Things continuing to go south for the Wolverines. One play, and Penn State is already in field goal position, up by 22. This will stop the clock. However, there's 9:40 in the 4th quarter.
Right now, the Penn State fans are chanting, "We want Bama." Alabama, the #1 ranked team in the country, just had a big win over Tennessee.
Every team that I have ever heard chant, "We want Bama," with the exception of Clemson, really, over the last few years, has regretted that chant. Penn State, as you said, though, a long way to go. They've got a tough slate ahead of them. However, if they are able to hold on, and it is looking like that will be the case at the moment, they will advance to 7-0, 4-0 in Big Ten play. As now Josh Metellus is up as he walks to the sideline under his own power. We'll let you know if he comes back into the game, but again, that's the last thing you want to see as the Wolverines, a game that's already getting out of hand. Injuries to your lineup that will affect your ability to win more games in the future.
Yeah, now Jordan Glasgow, the player off the bench, is stepping in for Metellus. He's the player that got burned on the previous touchdown throw.
McSorley is alone as he continues to look over to the sideline. The clock did start again, now under 9.5 minutes. Nittany Lions content to take their time. McSorley takes the snap, fakes the handoff, again looks to throw. He actually did give it to Barkley, who's wrapped up in the backfield for a loss of 3. A nice play made by Rashawn Gary and Chase Winovich.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is Michigan has been winning the battle in terms of stopping Penn State's rushing attack. It's just that by doing so, they leave holes open in other aspects, such as the QB run, the QB pass.
It's now 2nd and 13. The ball is on the Michigan 28-yard line.
Metellus is back in the game now.
Just a momentary shakeup. Barkley is to the left of McSorley this time. McSorley's going to throw on second down. He flushes out of the pocket and has tons of room. Crosses the 20, the 15, and the 10 until he's run out of bounds at the 9. Good for a first down and 20 yards.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley is the one that created that play. He went out for a short route to the left flat, and McCray, who's assigned to spy on McSorley, had to run out and cover him. But as a result, that middle of the field was completely void of any linebackers because the rest of them were dropped deep in coverage, and there was a huge field of green in front of McSorley, and he knew exactly what to do to bring Penn State into the red zone.
Not only into the red zone, inside the 10, the ball sits on the 9-yard line as we tick down to 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. Barkley comes in motion, takes the handoff. Nope, it is McSorley. He pushes forward past the 5, across the goal line. Another touchdown for Penn State. And that should all but seal it here in State College.
Yeah, Michigan's defense just looks gassed at this point. McSorley asserted his dominance there, showing a little bit of his power there to drag a few defenders across the goal line and put up another 6 for Michigan, and another 6 for Penn State, and now this game is getting out of hand.
What at one point looked like it could be a close game heading into the second half, Michigan down by 8, is now about to be a much larger advantage for Penn State. They are going to review whether or not McSorley did get into the end zone. It was close. The ruling on the field was he did cross the goal line. In the event that Penn State does get the touchdown and they add on the extra point, they will now lead by 29.
Yeah, Michigan had 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, but since then they've been held scoreless.
And
Michigan's offense has looked pretty...
got the touchdown.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an obvious call for the refs here. We have wait the official message from our head referee.
Almost an immediate confirmation of the call. Touchdown Penn State, pending the extra point, 41-13. And now awaiting the extra point here from the Nittany Lions. The kick is up. It is good. 42-13 your tally right now with 7:53 remaining in the fourth quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football, brought to you in part by Underground Printing. Jeremy Parks, Will Yang. Things looking down for the Maize and Blue.
Yeah, things looking down. Right now there's 7:53 left. In theory, there is time left for Michigan to come back. Now they're down 4 touchdowns. But given the way their offense is looking, I think that things are looking pretty slim for Michigan. They've been doing a good job on offense of converting and actually making some big throws downfield, but the problem is they've been giving up too many negative plays, too many penalties, too many sacks, and even turnovers that cancel out the positive gains for your offense.
They had college game day here in State College today. They had the Barstool Tailgate Show. It's been a party all day long, and now the end result looking very positive for the team backed by the people in white.
Yeah, and a lot of people in white now are leaving the stadium. They also think this game is out of hand.
Stranger things have happened, although you can't say all that much stranger. You know, aside from Michigan returning the kickoff for a touchdown, I would be very surprised to see any kind of life from this team. They look gassed, like you said, and it has to be hard not to hang your head at this point. Coming in big underdogs, the largest underdog line that Michigan has faced in Jim Harbaugh's tenure. I believe it was 9.5 coming into today. And they have definitely beat that line.
And Ambry Thomas has had a few good kick returns in this game, so it wouldn't be out of the question for him to run it back. But given how the offense has been playing and given how Penn State's offense has just had Michigan's defense's number all game, I think a comeback here is unlikely. Unlikely, but still possible.
Tyler Davis colluding with his kickoff unit. Michigan is entirely set up. As always, Thomas and Hawkins back to return.
And the backup quarterback, Brandon Peters, who you mentioned, is taking practice stats from Patrick Kugler, the starting center. This could be a time where we see Brandon Peters in some action.
Well, that would certainly shut up the Michigan fans who have wanted to see him for a while now. We will see what happens after the kickoff, but that is first.
Yeah, and I think Jim Harbaugh's a quarterback's coach. He's really an expert at the position. And I think there has to be a reason that John O'Corn has been starting over Peters, but we'll see if Peters gets a chance.
O'Corn also has his helmet on. Peters too.
And Peters is now talking to Jim Harbaugh on the sideline. Looks like it was a short conversation though.
Tyler Davis teed up, waiting the end of the TV timeout. 7:53 remaining in the fourth quarter. Penn State up 29. And now the whistle blows. The boot is up. Line drive, kick. Fielded 2 steps deep in the end zone by Ambry Thomas. He breaks out towards the middle, and he is wrapped up and brought down at the 15-yard line.
Mask on that play, but it was such a bang-bang play, you can't really call anything. And John O'Corn is going onto the field for Michigan. Looks like he will be the one under center for this drive.
Peters continues to roam the sideline, perhaps waiting for his opportunity if this game continues to get even deeper. And now Michigan absolutely in need of a score and a score with pace. Peoples-Jones out wide to the left. Crawford out wide to the right. Ty Isaac set to the right of O'Corn, who's in the shotgun. They fake the handoff. It's O'Corn. O'Corn slides to the 20-yard line on first down for a gain of 5.
Read option there. Interesting play call. Something we don't really see in Jim Harbaugh offenses, but obviously taking advantage of John O'Corn's underrated athleticism. And he made the right read there. Good pickup on first down of 5 yards.
Clock continues to roll under 7.5 minutes. Again, out of the gun is O'Corn. Penn State showing 5 down linemen. The handoff to Ty Isaac. He pushes forward close to the first down marker, and I believe he will get it across the 25-yard line, and the chains will move. 2 consecutive pickups of 5, and Michigan moving, but it might be a little too late.
Yeah, good blocking there. The run blocking game has something that Michigan's really improved as of late. Ty Isaac had a big hole there, and he was able to get to that second level before he was stacked up by Nick Scott.
Michigan does not seem concerned with the time on the clock as they continue to put the ball on the ground, and now O'Corn on first down drops back, competes a pass. No, he does not. It bounces out of the arms of the tight end, Zach Gentry, and now a flag thrown on the field. I believe we may see pass interference. Or no, the flag was actually thrown from the Michigan sideline. It was some debris. Looked as though there might have been one thrown by the right sideline judge. Instead, it's 2nd and 10 from the Michigan 25, 6:48 remaining in the fourth quarter on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
On that last play, that was a pretty good read and a very good throw by O'Corn. Gentry just has to come up with that. That would have been a first down.
3 receivers to the left. O'Corn hands off to Ty Isaac. He has a little bit of room out to the right, continues to get a couple blockers, and close to a first down, but call it a gain of 9 as it'll leave 3rd and 1.
Yeah, Penn State's sort of sitting back now. They have an extra defensive back there in the game, it looks like. If you're counting Koa Farmer, who's more of a hybrid, but they're willing to give up the run there.
O'Corn takes the snap, fakes the handoff, goes for the screen to Perry. He gets it, but he's hit immediately shy of the first down marker. Might have even lost a yard. And now 4th and 1. Michigan will obviously have to go for it.
Yeah, what an individual effort by the Penn State defender there. That was Lamont Wade, the cornerback.
4th and 1, and unless Michigan wants to go out with only a whimper, they will need to get the first down. Michigan will line up with 3 receivers to the right. Both Perry and Crawford in the slot. Peoples-Jones out to the right. The handoff to Karan Higdon. He's got enough room for the first down and a little bit more as he scampers across the 40. Gain of 7, and the clock will stop at 5:33. Michigan still down by 29 and still only moving incrementally.
Yeah, Michigan's moving the ball downfield and putting together a pretty good drive, but I know they're playing right into Penn State's defense. They're playing a lot more conservatively. Don't want to give up the big play to Michigan.
1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. O'Korn looking to throw. Tries to complete it out over towards the sideline, was targeting Peoples-Jones, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact there on the perimeter, but I think the refs are willing to let them play. Amani Oruwariye is the corner on that play. He's sort of their nickel corner they bring in, and he's a good cover guy. He leads the team with 3 interceptions on the game, and there was just good physical coverage there on the sideline. Donovan Peoples-Jones, and now it's 2nd and 10.
Empty backfield. O'Korn looking to throw as he will take the snap. Quick screen over to Khalid Hill. He grabs it. Maybe 3 yards. And Michigan seems resigned to defeat now. Maybe they can get one more touchdown back and make the score line look a little bit less awkward.
Yeah, Michigan getting a little cute there. They tried to put their big fullback, their big 283-pound fullback out on the perimeter matchup against DBs, but it looks like Michigan is just taking their time, moving it slowly. It's not going to be enough to put up a fight in this game.
Ty Isaac alongside John O'Korn. O'Korn drops back, throws, has it complete to Eddie McDoom across the middle, who squirts across the first down marker, still fighting for some extra yards as his legs are wrapped up. And they will get into Penn State territory for not only a first down, but some extra yards afterwards. It'll be at the Penn State 41-yard line, 4:22 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Eddie McDoom might be the fastest player on this offense, and they use him a lot in reverses and jet sweeps, but there you saw him in the short passing game. That's another way his speed can be utilized in this Michigan offense.
1st and 10, O'Korn is going to take a deep shot over to the left. He's got Grant Perry wide open if he can catch it, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, Grant Perry was wide open there. I didn't really see what route he ran, but O'Korn has to put that out more on the outside because the safety had time to recover and make a good play on the ball.
The recovery was by Troy Apke, and just a bit too much air underneath it as it sailed over the head of Grant Perry, and now 2nd and 10, 4:01 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that was actually Lamont Wade there out on coverage, but if O'Korn puts that more on the sideline, that's a touchdown for Michigan.
O'Korn fakes the handoff and pushes himself forward for a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9, under 3:50.
Yeah, good job by Penn State defense for bottling that up. I think that was a poor read by John O'Korn because he faked the handoff to Isaac and then he went in the same hole, more or less, and Penn State's D-line was ready to gobble that one up. But again, Penn State is pretty much content on letting Michigan get these small chunks of yardages because it won't amount to anything in the big picture.
3rd and 9. O'Korn again looking for the deep ball, this time to Peoples-Jones, and it's going to be overthrown.
Yeah, O'Korn had some heavy pressure there, and he took a big shot to the head. I think there could have been possible targeting there, but the refs aren't doing anything. It looked like the Penn State defensive lineman launched his helmet at O'Korn's head, and as a result, that caused the overthrow on the perimeter to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
An interesting note that we didn't mention earlier, Nico Collins has been in the game in and out a little bit for the Wolverines. He had not seen action before tonight, which means they are burning his red shirt.
Yeah, Nico Collins is a big, physical, talented receiver, and I think he got a lot of hype in training camp. He just needs to polish his game, polish his technique a little bit more. But good to see the young freshman out here getting some meaningful minutes against Penn State.
4th and 9. A flag falls before the play can even get off, and I believe it's going to be a false start. Nope, delay of game. And boy, sputtering to the finish line here are the Wolverines. That'll now make it 4th and 14. On a night that will be readily forgotten by the Michigan faithful, they will have to turn around next week and look for a quick rebound against in-conference opponent Rutgers at home. But now, 4th and 14 again. O'Korn drops back, is going to be sacked in the backfield, and what a fitting end to this one. Gathered up by Shaka Tony.
Yeah, that play pretty much sums up how this game's been going. Michigan's offense has been getting a decent job of getting big plays and getting a lot of good play combinations to get a drive going, but the sacks kill Michigan. It's John O'Corn is not able to elude the pocket, not able to find a receiver. He holds on the ball just a bit too long, and you have to give Penn State's defense credit. That sack was made by Shakatoni, a player they bring off the bench for passing situations. He's sort of a pass rush specialist, and he was able to beat his man, get to O'Corn there. But there's nothing really Michigan's offense could do there. Penn State's defensive line just won that battle.
It was the 7th sack of the night for the Nittany Lions, and now protecting Trace McSorley, the Penn State Nittany Lions bring in backup quarterback Tommy Stevens, a redshirt sophomore out of Indianapolis, Indiana, as he plunges forward for about a 15-yard gain. Oh, and the ball is loose. It's picked up by the Wolverines. It's going to be ruled a fumble gathered by David Long, who had an interception earlier in this game. And, well, we'll see how they rule it. They are saying that it is a Michigan recovery, and that ball was picked up by David Long, and he worked it all the way down past the 30-yard line of Penn State, and maybe Michigan will have a chance to put another touchdown on the board. One play for Tommy Stevens and one fumble. He was hit, and it was jarred loose.
Yeah,
watching the replay here, he actually may have been down, and boy, a review would only drag this game out.
Yeah, it looked like he was down, and it looks like the refs will review this and give the ball back to Penn State. But David Long has quietly been having himself a really big game today. He had the interception, obviously, in the first half to swing the game and put Michigan in a place where they put themselves where they have a chance to win this game. And he has done a good job locking down receivers. He hasn't really been targeted much all game, but despite that, I think the refs will award the ball to Penn State as Tommy Stevens, the backup quarterback, his knee was down on that play.
And that's why I hadn't called it. I turned away as he was already down, and then the ball had come loose. And either way, I guess on the first play for Tommy Stevens, a nice pickup, double-digit pickup on the ground. 3:08 sits on the clock here in Happy Valley, and Michigan just wants the review to be over with, wants to get out of here, back to Ann Arbor and regroup. They are going to fall to 5-2 on the season, 2-2 in conference play, and this loss should all but eliminate an opportunity, barring some very odd metrics of the Wolverines getting a chance this year at the Big Ten Conference Championship game.
Yeah, well, first of all, on that play, Tommy Stevens is another quarterback with underrated athleticism. Penn State used him in a lot of creative packages against Northwestern as a receiver, as a running back. But as you mentioned, in the bigger picture, Michigan falls to 2 losses in the Big Ten. And mathematically, they're still in. Anything can happen, of course, in college football. But given the way Penn State's been playing, Ohio State's another team with 0 losses in the Big Ten. They've both been playing phenomenal football. Penn State all year. Ohio State has slipped up against Oklahoma early in the year, but since then they've really picked it up. So just given the way that these teams have been playing, I think that it's definitely a really steep uphill battle if Michigan wants to get in the Big Ten championship game.
And after a prolonged review, it is ruled in favor of Penn State. They will get the ball back, and it will be placed inside Michigan territory at the 36. And boy, another score would just add insult to injury. However, we've seen James Franklin be a little bit of a weasel in that way before, icing a Division II kicker when he was up by 60-plus points a few weeks ago, so that he would miss the only point opportunity of the night on the last play of the game. And now Stevens ready for his second snap. He takes it, and then the delayed pitch gets it out to the backup tailback, Miles, and he will be pushed out of bounds. Miles Sanders at the 30-yard line, gain of 5. Clock will continue to run, though, inside 3 minutes.
Yeah, good blocking there on the perimeter. That was Jawan Johnson, one of their biggest receivers, and that's something that has made their offense so successful, is the ability to block defensive backs and make medium runs into large runs.
That would be, and this was just mentioned by Austin Falco here in the booth, could be a motivator for Penn State. Michigan fans had used it relentlessly on Penn State fans that last year's final score was 49-13. Another touchdown would bring us to that tally in favor of the Nittany Lions. A handoff on 2nd and 5 to Miles Sanders, gains another 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 3. Do you think Penn State could be that petty as to want to go for 7 just to make the score what last year was?
I mean, I don't know. James Franklin's definitely a competitor, and I think that that's something he will keep in mind.
3rd and 3, ticking down to 2 minutes, and a lot of movement. We're going to see a penalty flag. Not sure who jumped first. Might have been Brendan Mahon. Nope, it is offside against Michigan. The penalty is against Lawrence Marshall in the game, seeing some reps as a third-string defensive lineman.
Yeah, and you mentioned Michigan blew out Penn State last year, and now Penn State's the one laying the hurt on Michigan. It just shows that how much turnover can happen in 1 year and how volatile the college football landscape is from year to year. Michigan lost a lot of guys. They only returned 5 starters this year. They are the youngest team in college football, and Penn State returns an explosive athlete like Saquon Barkley.
1:41 remaining, 1st and 10 for Penn State. Stevens takes the snap, plunging forward is Miles Turner. Or Miles Sanders, I should say, down close to a first down at the 15. 1:23 left.
Yeah, and this Penn State offense has asserted their will. I think all week they've heard about how great of a coordinator Don Brown is, how elite this Michigan defense is, and right now Penn State's been bringing the game to Michigan's defense.
2nd and 1. 1 minute left in the 4th. The snap, handoff, moving forward towards the 10-yard line and brought down. The handoff was given to yet another deep member of the Penn State lineup, Mark Allen, a 4th running back option. Penn State outgained Michigan, almost doubling them up, 501 yards to 269 tonight. And they're not finished. They still want to put 7 on the board with 37 seconds left. Stevens again hands it off and plowing up the middle to the 5-yard line. We'll see if they call timeout to maybe get another play off. Under 20 seconds, it's 2nd and 6 from the Michigan 6.
The fans are asking for a timeout.
Don't think they're going to get it, but they may run one more play. Or are they going to let time expire? Nope, they're going to run one more. James Franklin is a snake. They get the snap off with 1 second left. And they stuff the run in the backfield. And that'll do it in Happy Valley. The final score, Penn State 42, Michigan 13. In a game that Michigan fans will be quick to forget. Penn State dominant throughout. Michigan showed signs of life in the first, but no points in the second half as they stumble to the finish line. Again, Michigan falls to 5-2. 2-2 in conference play. Penn State remaining undefeated, 7-0, 4-0 in the Big Ten. Will, your final thoughts from Happy Valley in the night?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge blowout. This is really the only time I've seen a blowout by a Jim Harbaugh team since the Ohio State game 2 years ago in Ann Arbor. And you have to give a lot of credit to James Franklin. His offense came to play. Saquon Barkley is a phenomenal athlete, and we saw him explode right out of the gate, putting Michigan's defense on notice. And even after Michigan made some good adjustments to stop Saquon Barkley, the other players stepped up and made plays. They're saying, you know, if you're going to take away our star player, you know, we're pretty good too. Trace McSorley had a big game on the ground and in the air, taking advantage of the size of his receivers against the smaller Michigan defensive backs. And on defense, Penn State did a good job of forcing John O'Korn to make plays to beat them. And at the end of the day, John O'Korn couldn't. They were willing to give up some big plays, but their plan was to get after John O'Korn, and they did. They went after him and got him in the ground. And even though they gave up some big plays to Michigan's offense, the sacks were able to allow Penn State's defense to stop Michigan's offensive momentum. And, you know, this was a tough game for John O'Korn. He took a lot of sacks, and I think that Michigan fans it might be time to give Brandon Peters a shot. You know, he's just a redshirt freshman. He's young. He still might not have enough of Jim Harbaugh's offense in his brain. I think that's the reason he hasn't started yet. But I think a game next week against Rutgers, we could see a little bit of Brandon Peters getting his first action of college football.
We will see how Michigan regroups next week. We'll have that call for you on WCBN Sports at home again in Ann Arbor against in-conference foe Rutgers. That's going to do it for our coverage here from Happy Valley. Into the Pennsylvania night we go. Again, your final score, Penn State 42, Michigan 13. For our entire crew of Daniel Thompson, Austin Falco, Will Yang, and our man down on the field, Ruck Fisher, I'm Jeremy Parks. As always, even in a loss, we leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.